next generation of Detroit sports media is here. Crunch Time is back on Woodward Sports. Join Jeff Iafrate and Booner Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Taking Detroit sports coverage to the next level with massive interviews, viral moments, and the best live reactions. Get ready, Detroit. The young guns are taking over. Crunch Time on Woodward Sports.
We're back. It's Crunch Time here on Woodward Sports on a Wednesday. It's August 12th. The Tigers won again, and we're going to discuss it. It's also day of the doc. Jeff Iafrate, Booner, KG, Caleb Zarnick. The crew is here. We got Riley in the studio as well.
Shout out, Riley.
We got to get to those Tigers. They keep winning, and we were in attendance yesterday. Big shout out to Rake. He's in the chat. I mean, he's a friend of the network, one of our good friends, and he took care of the fellas yesterday. We got to be in attendance. We got to watch the Tigers, and wow. Wow. And we got Caleb back a day before this all occurred. Judgment Day was yesterday. Caleb's back. We go to the Tigers game with KG. I saw KG enjoying himself a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's a question marks on that.
So
man.
What a concept. You can be a fan and still be upset at the direction of the team. I
don't know, man.
What a concept.
We had a great time yesterday, and man, I'm fired up. We're going to get to some Tigers.
My favorite part about all of this is when we went to the Yankees game with Maz, walking out, Jeff looks at me and goes, "This is incredible. I love this team, blah, 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 all this." Yesterday, walking out of the stadium, Jeff looks at me and goes, "Booner, these fans, this team, this organization, this is unbelievable. I love this stuff, man."
No,
and Jeff's fully bought in as well. Listen.
That was you. You had a great time yesterday.
I had a blast.
Your boy helped you with a 4-leg parlay.
Yes, we did. We did hit a home run, or not a home run parlay, but a 4-leg parlay, which was incredible. It felt like everyone besides Dylan Dingler got a hit yesterday.
Yeah.
Obviously, I had a Riley Green home run. Gets hurt instantly, which sucked. Hopefully, he's okay.
Yeah.
But I will say, a Tuesday night at Comerica Park, when you think maybe, not everyone's going to show up. We were talking about it actually before the show yesterday. Like, is it going to be sold out? That place was packed.
Yeah, decent crowd for a Tuesday.
For a Tuesday, that place
Max
was
Clark's
packed.
home debut.
Home
we didn't know that until we were in attendance.
It was incredible. And you know what? I had yesterday, last night, obviously I took the video of the last out, got the boys in it, had to tag Sean. Where's Sean at? Because I came in here yelling in the studio, "Sean, how we doing?" Gone. Instantly. Gone. I haven't seen Sean today.
I thought y'all got into a little tizzy during one of the breaks of the morning show because he was back there.
I was in the bathroom. I was in the bathroom. I could hear him yelling. I was like, I'm missing Sean.
Sean did come to the back offices. Me and Caleb were in there, and he just got a temperature check on the fellas. He knows what we talk about a lot on this show.
Yeah.
And you know where Sean is. If you watch, you can watch Big D Energy, and Sean and Neil, they have their position. They've been consistent on what they feel, how they feel about the Tigers. I'm not going to get into the goalpost moving conversation, but it does feel the sentiment from Sean even this morning is, okay, they still have to make the playoffs. Fine. He wants to wait till they're locked in. Fine. But the other thing he asked me and Caleb back there was, okay, guys, what's the best case scenario? If they make the playoffs, what's the best case scenario?
Then what?
Then what?
That right there, KG, and the other day and last week, you got mad at me because you guys were like, how are we moving goalposts? And then you were on Big D and you told Sean that, apparently we're moving goalposts. That's the goalpost moving.
I've said that the whole time.
So you're getting the playoffs, then what?
If you watch my Tiger takes, I have said that all along.
No, you didn't, because a couple days ago I said, let's draw a line. Where are we going to stop this line at, and when are we finally going to get to that day? And what did you say to me? If they make the playoffs, I'll stop. I'll give in that point. So when Sean goes back there and says that to Jeff and says, well, then what? No, Sean Belician. That's not how this works. That isn't it. And let me tell you this, too. We are not the New York Yankees. We're not the Dodgers. We're not all these franchises that have won 1 billion World Series. I went and looked today, and I told you guys before, I said, I'm going to give this on the show. If the Tigers make the playoffs, guess what? It's the third time in franchise history that they've ever gone to 3 straight playoffs. Third time in franchise history. Yeah. But Sean's going to sit up here and act like that this is a team that has won 1 billion World Series and that they're in the playoffs every year, and the expectation, and no matter what, is to be in the playoffs. Guys, hold on. Another stat. After they won the World Series in '84, for the next 26 years, they missed the playoffs 24 of the 26 years. They went to the playoffs the next 26 years 2 times after making a World Series. Yeah. But them going to 3 straight playoffs this year It's so disappointing. Oh my gosh, can we want more? We want more. What more do you want? They're going to the playoffs.
I want to get beyond the divisional round.
And
you
guess
go to
what?
the playoffs to win, Booner.
You do, but they're building. They didn't go to the playoffs for 9 years before Scott Harris took this over. And guess what? They're going potentially on a third straight year.
Well,
you don't just make the playoffs 1 year and go, we're going all the way to the World Series and winning it. It takes time.
You extended your building by getting rid of
just like how you are
piece
positive all the time about the Lions. Guess what? It takes time for them too. You don't expect them last year and the year before. You've been very, very gracious with the Lions. Why not with the Tigers?
No, I've been critical of the Lions.
You have, but you're more gracious. You don't sit here and do what you do about the Tigers.
Sean
doesn't do that.
The makeup of the Lions is far, far different. You have all pros. You have fucking Pro Bowlers on that team. You have some of the best players in the league at their position on that team.
And they're trying to build to get there too. The Tigers are trying to build to get there. They're in year 3 of potentially making the playoffs. This isn't year 7.
Yes, but you have set yourself back, and it's also a no salary cap league. There is no reason why within these 3 years the Tigers couldn't have made this team better to where you have a way better chance at a World Series than what you have.
No. You guys are sitting here thinking that every year they need to be in the World Series. You're going to be pissed off, mad.
No,
they're making the playoffs. They didn't do it for 9 years before Scott Harris got here. They did it. They barely have done it in the whole organization history. Why are we acting like they're the Dodgers and every year they should be World Series contenders?
Because
they're making the playoffs and they're making pushes. Let them keep doing that. Guess what's going to happen next year too? If they make it this year, they're probably going to make it next year. That's
we don't know that.
Oh no, this team. I mean, the team's only going to get better. The team's only going to get better.
We don't know that.
Oh,
bro.
come on.
I believe no, but I'll reason with you. I do believe they will have a chance to compete after this year because of the young talent. But once again, you have set your development back because you got rid of a major piece to this machine.
Hold on. Caleb, you're a Tigers guy. Have the Detroit Tigers set their development back of Max Clark, Kevin McGonigal, at the time Riley Green when Scott Harris took over, Dylan Dingle? Are those guys set back when it comes to developing them, or have they gotten developed and they've taken steps forward? Troy Melton, developed. Tell me, yes or no? The KG just said they stopped their development. Have they stopped their development of players in this organization? Or they have the best farm system basically in organizational history? Tell me, have they stopped their development?
No, not the guys that Scott Harris has drafted. Some of the guys in the Alavila era, like the Torques and the Riley Green, I think could be a little bit better of a player in terms of the strikeouts and stuff. But that's one thing that I think that everybody should give Scott Harris a lot of credit for. I mean, he does a lot of stupid shit and that we get pissed off at. But one thing that he is very good at is the development internally. And I always hate when people say that, but it's true. I mean, look at Max Clark, a guy that we took over Wyatt Langford, who was a guy that you were going to plug and play in your lineup the next season. And Max Clark has developed into a fantastic player. Kevin McGonigal, fantastic player. Yeah, that's one thing I don't think we can knock Scott Harris on is the internal development.
I think I got to the bottom of it with Sean. I think the clear difference is he and I'm assuming KG's probably the same way with Sean, is Sean has not accepted the fact that he hasn't accepted the point you're making, which I think we've all accepted. They're not going to be the Dodgers. So what's the next step?
But that's what my thing.
I think Sean.
But if you're going to go to other routes, you haven't even done that the right way, and that's kind of been frustrating as well. If you're going to be a Brewers, if you're going to be a Rays, you have to actually go out there and supplement this team with the right talent, and they have not done that. Your young pieces, you have failed to protect.
So them keep winning, they have not done that.
No, he is right about that. 100% he's right.
So what are they supposed to? What's the end goal here? Because you and Sean are just going to be mad until what? They win a World Series? There's no end goal.
Yes, Booner.
Then you're going to hate the Tigers for the rest of your life until they win one.
No, but you trying to excuse them for being a miserable franchise all this fucking time.
They have been.
So what
Why
does
are we
that
acting like they
mean,
make the playoffs every year in their franchise history?
But that doesn't matter, Booner. You're in the dance just like all these other teams. Yes, I expect my team to try to go out there and win. I do. And the Tigers have been close. They've gone to World Series during this run over the last 20 years. They've been to World Series and have failed to win. That's all I want. It's been since 1984 that they haven't had a championship. Sean is right in the aspect of we don't hold the Tigers to the same standard that we hold the Lions to. The Lions haven't won since the 50s.
Lions have never won a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
there's difference. They never won it.
I understand
Tigers
that.
at least have won it. They've never won it in their franchise. There's a reason.
68 and 84, and now it's 2026.
But I don't understand the point of like, hey, they're finally making the playoffs after we went 10 years without it, and now we're mad.
Because
like, we're mad. Like if you want to be like, hey, I want to get to the if you guys want to be like, hey, I want to get to the next level, I can understand that. But getting mad at fans and me and people and hold on. Getting mad at people for sitting here celebrating this team and saying, hey, this team is damn fun to watch, dude. Like I love going to the games. They're fun to watch. This is awesome. And then be like, what's fun to watch about this team? What's fun? You're lying.
That's
You're
our
lying.
perspective.
Sean's lying.
But
it is fun to watch this team.
But let me tell you why I'm mad at you, and I said it this morning if you watch the morning show. I'm mad at you because you want to crown this team before they have done anything. A hole that you dug in May, you're just now getting out of in August.
Have I crowned anyone? No.
But you have been mad at me because I refuse to crown them until they officially get out of the fucking
Jeff, have I ever crowned them or anything? No.
Yes, you have.
But
I've been up here celebrating the fact that they're
so now you're just spitting lies. I'm celebrating because I said they're going to get back to 500 and I'm not sitting saying this is the crowning is they're the best team in baseball. They can make a World Series. Stop just putting lies out there. I've never said that. Have I crowned them at all?
To crown them, bro. Yes,
no, I have. No, I have. See, this is where you're wrong. I have not tried to crown them. Crowning them would say they're World Series contenders that they can get there. I have always been consistent and said they get back to where they are. This is the goalpost moving that you and Sean and people who are going at the Tigers love to. Hold on, I'm still talking. Love to say that is not what's happened. I have said they're going to get back out of the hole that they've created, and they're going to get back in the playoffs, and they're going to. Hopefully you can hope that they make a run, but I've said that they're going to get back in the fight and they're going to probably make a wild card. That's where I have been.
But when are we going to get tired of hoping, though?
See, this is where it's changing. You just said I crowned them and then I explained to you, and you didn't say, all right, Boone, yeah, I get that. Now you're saying, but when are we going to get tired of it? I'm not, because the last 2 months they've been the best team in the AL.
But if you've followed this team longer than 2 fucking months, you can understand the frustration of long time.
Obviously it's frustration. We want to go win the World Series.
I haven't seen this team in the World Series since 2014.
This is going nowhere.
I don't understand.
Nowhere.
Let's get to
changing goalposts, moving all this.
It's not, bro. I've been very consistent.
And by the way, people tell me to let people talk. This is my damn show. Stop saying that in the chat.
Shout out.
I love KG. KG could talk. We could all talk.
It's all love, man. It's all love.
By the way, Devin.
I've been on the show for 12 minutes. KG's been on for 2 hours. I'm allowed to talk a little bit.
By the way, Devin, appreciate the tweet. He says, day 14, Booner yells more than a YN woman. Appreciate you, Devin, for the $2.
And by the way, I'm not getting replaced by anyone for years, so get used to it.
Rage, appreciate the 5. You know it's a lost cause when you have to start nitpicking wins to explain why the team is bad.
I just don't understand why it just can't be like, hey, they've got themselves on the whole respect.
No, I can acknowledge that and still be upset.
Instead of the respect, it's they're not going to win a World Series, so who cares?
But
or Sean, what's fun about this team? Why are you enjoying this team? Why are you enjoying a win?
But once again, if I was completely out on the team, I wouldn't go to games. I wouldn't
watch.
That's
fair, but I'm not. You're arguing a different point than I'm saying. I'm saying when Sean says, "Why are you having fun watching this team? Who cares about this team?" Why? Why can't fans enjoy it?
You can. Nobody is trying.
That's
to stop
my point.
Fans.
You're arguing a different argument.
But also, don't force me to try to be happy about
am I forced you to do anything?
With this team.
Have I forced you to do anything?
We were sold that they were going to be leading the AL division in a World Series possible.
Have I forced you to do anything? No, I haven't.
You've been trying. Then why are you getting mad at me then for having my opinion?
I just think that you can have fun watching this team without people being like, "Why are you having so much fun watching this team?"
And
that's ridiculous in my opinion.
You can do that, but I can also.
But I get told yesterday, "What's so fun about this team?" Sean in the back. Well, why are you having fun watching this team? Are they going to do anything in the postseason?
I think that's a legitimate question.
No, it's not.
If you watch,
let fans enjoy the team.
Question. That's all.
By the way, we have another one too from Dante. Appreciate the 2. He says, "I would rather be a Tigers fan than a Rockies fan." Okay,
that's true.
Fair.
The Rockies suck.
Yeah, fair enough.
Thanks for the perspective, Dante. Let's take a break. Let me tell you about our friends over at Planet Fitness. Shout out Dante. We'll end it with that one. Planet Fitness, 60 locations throughout Metro Detroit, so they're always close to you. Planet Fitness High School Summer Pass is back and live until August 31st. Teens 14 to 19 can work out in Planet Fitness for free all summer long. So register online, planetfitness.com.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new face.
New focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
Has the best sports fans in the world. That's why they deserve the best sports coverage in the world. We are the Woodward Sports Network.
All right, we're excited to welcome Icon Auto Repair and Collision to the Woodward Sports family. If you've ever been in an accident or your vehicle, if it needs repairs, guys, make sure you trust the team at Icon Repair and Collision. With 3 convenient locations, Madison Heights, Shelby Township, and Pontiac. They've got you fully covered, guys. They offer free car loaners and even offer to pay your deductible. It's iconauto.com. It's the Icon that you can count on.
We're back. It's Crunch Time here on Woodward Sports. We talk Tigers. That went well.
By the way, Big Con asked a good question. Booner, would you rather have a fun team to watch or a boring team to win the World Series? Obviously, I think at the end of the day, I would love to win a World Series, but when we act like we're like the Yankees, that, if you just do this, it's going to happen.
I don't like that, Boner. That's not a
And also, too, I'm not going to get mad when they do. Like, I'm just not going to doo-doo on this organization, this team, when they are making the playoffs. Like, I just won't do that. Like, yeah, obviously, I will give them pushback on maybe some moves they do, but I'm not going to sit up here and tell fans how to feel.
You would get mad if the Lions just made the playoffs and got bounced in the second round every single year.
This year. Well, obviously, I wouldn't be mad. I'll be excited because we're making the playoffs and we're winning playoff games, but I would still push back a little bit and say, hey, we do need to get over that hump. I think it's the same thing with the Tigers. But I would not go to Lions fans and I would not tell them, hey, you shouldn't enjoy watching this football team that's going to the playoffs every year and winning playoff games. Like, hey, guys, Lions are making the playoffs. Don't enjoy them. You should not be having fun watching this team. What's so fun about that's what I wouldn't do, and that's what I keep hearing from people who are. It's like, hey,
will you be excited if the Lions just win a playoff game this year? No, you would not.
Yes, I would, because they haven't won one in 2 years. So yes, I actually would.
Okay,
I think they need to at least win a playoff game.
Okay,
but I wouldn't sit here and be like, that wasn't fun because they got bounced in the second round. I would still be like, hey, that game was fun. Like, I'm still gonna enjoy watching them. That's my point with Sean. It's like, stop saying, hey, why is this fun to watch? Maybe because my team is winning freaking ball games.
Caleb, up until the last 2 months, was this Tigers team fun to watch?
No, I mean, not necessarily fun. I mean, it's more fun to follow the young players, but I would not say it was very fun.
Has it been fun? I want to ask you a question. The last 2 to 3 years, has it been fun watching this team in the postseason and go and like I've seen you on streams and stuff.
Do you want me to be honest? No, because I mean, the offense was just always so bad. But like, I do agree with you.
So
like,
those playoff
the reason
wins,
I have fun watching them is because they're my favorite team. But like, there's obviously stretches, like big stretches, where they're not fun to watch. Like the end of last year, like I couldn't stand watching this team.
What?
But like, I
fell apart after the All-Star break.
But I do agree with you. Like I don't know what Sean's talking about. Like, there are fun things about this team.
Freddie Feltz says Juicy J making his lunch plans. Protect your peace,
real.
King.
I love how Jeff just stay out of it. He just let us go back and forth.
Yeah, you know, and hey, this is how this show works, man. Like, there's times where I'm on the stand, and the people are going at me. We just went through it last week, so since how this show goes, no one's safe. All right, and next week could be me. So we'll keep it pushing here. I do want to get to this Terran Arnold stuff because he did meet with another team, by the way, TA. And I know people are like, "Who cares? It's TA." No, let's have a conversation about it because he was in Hard Knocks. The Seahawks worked him out. He appeared in Hard Knocks. Mike McDonald gave him a dap, hugged him, and he's doing a world tour. I mean, I keep comparing it. This is like post-Cleveland LeBron signing with Miami, the decision. I mean, the guy's touring around the NFL. The Giants are hosting him. He's had 2 meetings with the Seahawks. He's had a meeting with the Texans. He's had a meeting, or he's going to have a meeting, or he had a meeting with the Saints, and there's more teams that want to meet with TA after the Lions released him, after all the stuff kind of came out there. So I was talking to Boone yesterday when I saw the news, And I guess it didn't hit me until – because at first it's like, TA, we obviously talked about the court case. And, he's innocent until proven guilty. Didn't look like the prosecution had a strong case necessarily based on some of the things we saw. But the Lions went ahead and cut him. It's something they've been consistent about. They'll release guys when they have, question marks or, legal stuff happening. Fair. Cam Sutton went through the same thing. They cut him. He actually went to another NFL team after that. Didn't necessarily work out. TA's a first-round pick. I was excited for him this year. He was released. He's doing a world tour, okay, all around the NFL. And I'm thinking to myself, for a team we're going to watch this year that is clearly going to struggle in the secondary, especially I know the number 2 corner spot, is there any point? Will there be any point? And this is my question to fans. Will there be any point in time where if he signs with one of these teams and he looks good, where we're watching this Lions season, watching this secondary struggle, and we're just thinking to ourselves, damn, we probably shouldn't have released him? Is there going to be a point? Are we going to be consistent about it through the whole season?
I hope not.
Because I think there is a part of me where I've always been like this, and I'll be consistent with it. Like, I had no problem when Jalen Carter was available. Obviously, the draft played out how it did, and it worked out very well. But my point being is I'm not as concerned with some of, like, a player with maybe some off-the-field questions if I have a really good locker room. I think that's important. I've been consistent about that. I mean, I wanted James Pierce. Clearly didn't work out in the NFL. But, like, in college, there were some questions. Jalen Carter had this stuff at Georgia. I was okay with that. Like, I'm cool as long as you didn't physically kill somebody. I think we can probably work through some stuff. We need football players. So this TA stuff, I was thinking about it. I'm like, man, if he goes to another franchise and he plays really well, there is going to be a part of me where I'm going to be envious.
Oh,
and I'm going to be upset.
100%.
I will. Be upset.
You know what? I think it's, and I hate to say this, I think it's more likely than not. I really do, because I think at the end of the day, I think we can all agree Terrion Arnold has talent. He's a talented corner. That's why he got selected in the first round. A lot of people had him as the best corner in that class with Quinyon Mitchell in that class. You notice something all the time with guys like that, the pressure of being in Detroit, being a first-round pick, obviously the fans for the first 2 years going at him. Think about if he does go to a Seahawks, a good defense with one of the probably the best defensive court. Not he's a head coach, but play caller, defensive play caller in the NFL. What he would do with Terrion. And now Terrion has no pressure, right? Like, say he goes to the Seahawks, there's no fans putting pressure on him as a first-round pick. They didn't use a first round. They got him in free agency because the Lions dropped him. Like, that's perfect for a guy to go and be like, let me actually go out there and show you what I can do. That's my worry. Even if he goes to, I don't know, a different team. Who else? The Texans, another secondary that's very good and a defensive-minded head coach. When I saw that last night and then this morning I saw the video of the Hard Knocks thing, my heart dropped, and I go, this is going to turn out bad for us. Like, this is going to be tough.
And there's a contingency on if he's ass or not. Okay, and I'm putting that out there right now. If he doesn't work out, then no one cares. But I'll say this now. I will be upset if TA goes somewhere and balls out.
Oh, I would be mad.
And I just wanted to get a temperature check on, like, are we maybe having. Are we having some remorse?
Buyer's remorse.
Buyer's remorse. Looking at this TA thing, do you guys wish that he probably could have stuck around a little bit longer? Or I understand he would have got drilled and Lions would have got drilled with questions. But again, that's kind of like the sacrifice you make if you're going to have a first-round pick in your team with maybe some off-the-field stuff. But are you guys ready for this potential outcome?
Yeah, also,
we're just getting ahead of it now.
Real quick, Silas $5 said, why isn't TA signing anywhere, though? We're deep into training camp with 3 weeks until the season. Why hasn't anyone scooped this bust up?
A lot of meetings and no signings.
He has to, yeah. With the situation he had, I think you want to get him in the building and first kind of see that. So maybe it's a two-sided street. He wants to figure out the best spot for him. Other teams want to make sure it's good and everything's fine on their end. So I think at the end of the day, he's going to be signed before the season starts.
Yeah, I agree. I think he'll be signed before the season starts, and I wouldn't be surprised if he went out there and balled out. That's just what we that's kind of just what happens to us Detroit sports fans. People leave and they ball out elsewhere. But I mean, I guess I have to stay consistent because when this was all happening, I said it was probably for the betterment of the team to let him go. He just seemed like it was a distraction. But I mean, I think he's going to go elsewhere, and I think he's going to play good football, which is incredibly frustrating. And I think fans have a right to be upset about it.
Do you think, real quick, do you think it would have been such a big distraction to where the team wouldn't be as ready as you'd expect, or would it just be a distraction for, like, the media, like maybe TA getting asked? Like, would it affect the team, though? That's what I wonder.
It could, depending on how the legal proceedings go, because we still don't know when his trial date is going to be. Imagine if they plop that like right during playoff time. Oh, you got to come to court. That wouldn't be the best look for the Lions, and the meetings with the lawyers and shit like that. So I think it's some behind the scenes stuff that maybe kind of lends to that. But I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on this, and to be honest, if he was still a Lion today, like I'm just asking this question just as a hypothetical, if he was still a Lion and none of this ever happened, do you think that the Lions were leaning more into maybe extending him beyond his 5th-year option? Do you think he had been a part of this team going forward based on what you had seen to this point?
Not based on what I've seen, but I think because this year would have been the deciding factor.
Yeah.
So like that, fair. Like we don't know if he could have easily. Again, he can go out there and look terrible. But all I'll say, like what solves all the off the field stuff with any player, guess what? Winning.
No, that's a fact.
That's what helps. And if he's playing for you and you guys are winning games, I don't think anyone's going to give a shit.
Well, I mean, dude, look at the Seahawks. They just won the Super Bowl. They're like, screw it. We'll take them.
Well,
like,
it's the same thing.
Fine.
I'll bring up the Jalen Carter stuff with what happened at Georgia. He comes to the Eagles. It's like a big thing. Oh, my gosh, they drafted Jalen Carter with all the questions. They won a Super Bowl. No one gives a flying shit.
Yeah, no one's talked about it.
Like, and Jalen Carter's, I mean, the guy spit at Dak Prescott. I mean, he's not the –
now he's the highest paid defensive tackle ever.
Not somebody I would probably, have my kids model themselves after Jalen Carter. But the guy's, hell of a ball player, and they win. And he just got a bag.
Right.
I honestly, hindsight, I don't know kind of where we all were when that happened. If we were like, oh, it's a good thing. I was telling Jeff yesterday, I feel like we were all a little shocked when the Lions let him go, and not in the sense of like the Lions, this is what they do, because that is what they do, but more so like with the shocked at the proceeding. Like we literally did a live stream of him in court. They said, hey, he's good to go. He doesn't even have to wear an ankle monitor because he's going to go back to training camp with the Lions. Within 24 hours, they dropped him.
Yeah.
That was what I was shocked about. Like, obviously, the Lions, I was shocked by the timing and everything. If they were waiting to see what happened in court, that's why I kind of go back to, again, this is tinfoil hat. I think that he might have told Dan and Brad something that was wrong, and then they found out in the court.
And that could potentially.
That it was like, hey, that relationship just got messed up because you lied to us.
Maybe.
To where if he didn't lie, he would still be on. I don't know. That's like a tinfoil hat because as a first round pick, like you don't want to just let your first. I know people don't like this, but like depending on the player you are, where you're drafted, the assets used for you, that's going to show if a team fully like if something's happened with Jared Goff or Amon-Ra or Panay, guess what? They're not going to get just cut like that. So that's where I like. Hey, he was at the end of the day like. It was a first-round pick.
Yeah.
So, like, you do – like, in my mind, it's like, hey, maybe we should have just – let's let this thing play out because you see the teams that are going after him. The Texans, best defense in the NFL. Seahawks, one of the best defenses in the NFL as well. And you're going, wait a second. Like, did we make the wrong decision here?
True, but, I mean, if he goes and gets convicted, you lose him regardless, and maybe you would have got extra year out of him maybe. But it would be an even worse look if they kept him and tried to defend him and he gets found guilty of all this.
I just think you have to just weigh options sometimes. Like again, the Lions are the Lions. They are consistent. They're all about culture. But when are we going to get to a point where like the culture is strong enough to withstand something like this?
I've asked that for years.
I that's just how I've always felt. I know Travis brought it up in the chat. Listen, I've been saying this for years, dating back to even players that the Lions could potentially sign, and I've made my case like, hey, the locker room's strong enough. When is a move like this going to be okay, given the locker room you have? Listen, as much as good PR is beneficial, you're not in the PR business. You're in the winning business. You need to win. Like that's better than any good PR. And in my opinion, like you nailed it with the point you just made. I was going to bring that up. If this happened to Jameer, would he be cut?
Yeah, no, he would not.
So with TA, the fact that he hasn't lived up to the draft status is probably weighed, in my opinion, heavily on the fact that he got cut. But here's the thing, like they clearly felt like he could be trending up. So was it worth it to cut the guy? I mean, I don't know. Given how bad your secondary is in your Super Bowl window right now, or your number 2 corner spot, yeah, it's
very telling too. Like KG's what he said there. It's like for one more year, and then he gets convicted. Like I would take him for one more year. Especially like you said, with the way that your secondary is right now, like I would take him in here, even if he's going through stuff and he's going through the media, whatever it is. Like, that's something you have to deal with. That's why I think it's something bigger than what actually happened. Like to where the Lions, maybe that relationship just got kind of cut in half, and there was something that they felt like they couldn't recover from. Because the fact that he's potentially going to sign with like the Seahawks or the Texans, those two teams right there just show me like hey, like you probably should have kept him for another year and just let this thing ride out. You had him in your building already.
It's fair.
By the way, we had Doc on?
No.
Okay. Well, let's get to some chat. I don't know if we missed a super chat or not. I don't think so. No, we have not. But let's get to some of the comments. So Travis actually put in here, which I agree with. Question is, when are we going to have the team? When are we the team that has a locker room that can handle these type of guys? When do we start saying we're solid enough? This guy can't change.
We've been there.
Yeah, I feel like we're definitely there. Like that you're able to bring guys in. I feel like have they not done that yet? Like brought a guy in that like a little questionable.
No, they haven't brought somebody in. They've had situations happen under their roof, like the Cam Sutton, the Isaiah Bugg situation. They've handled those, but those just kind of popped up. They haven't brought anybody in.
Trying to think of like some free agents or draft picks that like had red flags where you were like,
the closest one I can think of, and he didn't do anything off the field, CJ but that's about it.
Yeah.
But honestly, the CJ stuff, nothing off the field. Obviously, just
no disrespect to him.
No, but like even when he went to different teams, remember like after post Lions, he had a lot of issues in locker rooms.
Yeah, but it's like, and CJ had, to your point, like he was like, obviously there's levels. He was up there in terms of like had problems in the locker room.
But even
TA
at that
has
time,
never been like, TA's not having beef with guys in the locker room.
No,
like, that's
not that we've heard of.
So it's not like he's a locker room issue. It was more just, I think it's the simple fact of it is he didn't live up to his draft status, and they felt like, the
severity of the case.
The publicity, it's bad publicity.
The worst part about it, I think what really makes this whole kind of conversation go is the fact that your secondary, not even your safeties, but that corner room is a little slimmer.
Yeah.
Like that's where I think where you sit there and go like, hey, you should have stuck this out maybe.
But that's why it sucks because we don't know because TA never.
But if he ends up going this year, the thing is if he ends up going this year on like the Seahawks and playing well for them and being like a good corner too, it's like him and Witherspoon. Then you go, like that was we screwed that one up.
Let's take a break. We got Doc waiting on the other line here. We'll talk some training camp. We'll talk all things Detroit sports with the DOC, Detroit Lions training camp, of course. But first, we got to hear from Buddies.
Yeah, let me tell you about Buddies. Right now, you can get $10 off your order of $50 or more for dine-in or carry-out by using new promo code WWS26. That's WWS26. With 20 locations across Michigan, there's always a Buddies Pizza near you to cash in on this offer. Find a location near you or order online at buddiespizza.com.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
It is Joey with Woodward Sports, and in 2017, I trusted Dr. Yelda with my eyes, and it was the best decision I've ever made. No more glasses or contacts, just clear vision every single day.
Hi, I'm Darren McCarty, 4-time Stanley Cup champion. If I had LASIK back in the day, I probably would have won 8 Stanley Cups. So if you're thinking about LASIK, do it now. Tell them, Doc.
Come see me. You have nothing to lose. It's a free consultation.
For a limited time, LASIK only $19.99 per eye. Call Yeldo Eye Center. Let them know Woodward Sports sent you. But please don't wait like I did. Call them now.
This is a hungry bear. This is Carl and Jeff. Carl isn't worried because he has focused energy to spare thanks to Thrive energy pouches. Jeff didn't use Thrive when Carl offered. The bear is happy about that. Don't just survive. Thrive.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
All right, if you're looking for a career upgrade, guys, check out Mortgage Pro, the #1 mortgage broker to work for in the entire state of Michigan. And we got to see their incredible company culture at their annual block party a little bit ago, and it was awesome. Braylon show was out there. They also have 4.9 stars and over 4,000 reviews on Google. So their reputation, it speaks for itself. It's on the screen there. So if you are looking for a new job, give Mortgage Pros in Troy a call at 248-416-1361. It's Mortgage Pros. Let the pros handle it.
We're joined by the publisher of Detroit Lions and SI, the man, the myth, the legend. You can check him out on YouTube as well, Detroit Lions and SI. John Macaroon, covers the Detroit Lions. He's our good friend, here to talk some training camp and everything that has to do with the Lions. So, John, how we doing, my man? You got a different color hat. I feel like every week you got what is this, a red one or a
might be a tiger?
This is the red one, baby. Yeah, I'm feeling good, man. Making the Lions great again, hopefully. in 2026.
Mala.
What's up, fellas? It's a good time, baby.
You look good, Doc.
Yeah, Doc, you look good. I mean, we were talking before. I do want to start off before we get to training camp, and we got a lot to get into. I do want your thoughts on this, like, TA World Tour thing. Like, this guy's touring around the NFL, met twice with the Seahawks, Giants, Texans, the Saints. More teams are expected to have interest. Is there a part of you, Doc, where you're thinking, was it worth it to maybe let this guy go, given that, you know, teams are interested? There's obviously a high chance he plays for an NFL team this year, and your number 2 corner spot's a big question mark. Do you think it was the negatives outweighed the positives in terms of keeping him? Do you think it was worth it to let him go?
Yeah, no, it's interesting. You ask a question. Listen, I don't like to make references about myself when talking about the Lions, but on Sports Illustrated still found it worthy to keep me around because of my great talents, writing, producing great content, building a luscious, loyal audience. So you look at it and you say, look, NFL teams will overlook a lot of things when they're looking for talent. It's a talent business. They'll overlook alleged homicides, alleged inappropriate behaviors with the opposite sex. If you can help a team win, certain teams will take anybody. But this is different. The Detroit Lions, Dan Campbell came in and said, look, no turds. And you guys were talking, I was just listening in beforehand. Right when he came on board in August of 21, there was a player, Alex Brown. He was released on the same day when he was on I-75 driving the wrong way, allegedly intoxicated. In December of 24, Brandon Joseph was in Dearborn Heights, and he was pulled over under suspicion of driving under the influence. And he was somebody maybe that could have been a nice, solid defensive back. They cut him right away. Same with Cam Sutton. So the Detroit Lions have deployed a no turds policy. And that's been the funny debate that I've had on the Detroit Sports Podcast for a decade. What level of type of player are you willing to accept? But look, bottom line, and I think it's fair, if TA was an all-pro, everything that was going on, I think he would have been with the Lions. I think that, you know, he was a first-round draft pick. Bottom line, I think that when he was cut, it was really indicative of the fact that he sucked as a cornerback, and all the slappies that were like, wait, we're wrong. And we saw it pretty early that Terry Arnold might need a little bit of time, maybe that he's not first-round draft pick worthy. The Lions made a mistake in terms of his talent. And once he started to have legal problems, then they made the decision to move on. But listen, bottom line, guys, you guys know the NFL will take a lot of different players and figure out a lot of different excuses to keep talented people around. If the Seahawks believe that he's talented, he'll end up on the roster. But bottom line, in Detroit, he wasn't good enough to stay.
Doc, I want to ask you the big news this week. Obviously, Cade Mays out for an extended period of time with the kind of wrist injury. We don't know if it was broken, fracture. They didn't really release the details of it. What are your thoughts on kind of how they move forward? Do you think that this Lions team is able to kind of, still go? A lot of people are projecting them to go 4-1 to open the season before the bye. Do you think they can still do that with the offensive line of Juice Scruggs potentially filling in? Seth McLaughlin out of Ohio State obviously was a name that was getting filled in as well. What are your thoughts on that injury and how this Lions offensive line moves forward with it? Yeah,
and also Dan's practice habits. Can you address that too?
All of that
you've been, by the way, you've been to a ton of Lions practices. People that are saying like, "Oh, this guy just gets people killed in practice." Can you address that as well as what Booner asked, so our chat can get context?
Yeah, here's some context. Last year, obviously, in the live tackle drill, I'm right in front of me. Ennis Rakestraw goes down as he was crunched. You realize you lost a tight end to season-ending injury when you had a player launch into him. So this is the least in regards to, and look, Dan Campbell set the tone. He said, we're going to be physical, but we're trying to clearly have a camp where we can try to survive. And so this camp is the let's just say the least physical of the ones that have been conducted by Dan Campbell. And look, it's a concerted effort to try and keep this team healthy, but it's football. You're going to suffer injuries. And in the end, I always just start with the only luck that your Detroit Lions have is bad luck. So par for the course that the guy that the Detroit Lions spent money on, the guy that got the free agent dollars, can't even make it through the entire training camp. That's Lions luck. That's the way it's always going to be for the foreseeable future. Bad luck. But I will say that I probably feel a little more comfortable than that Juice Scruggs and Seth McLaughlin were probably a little bit better than Graham Glasgow. I mean, Graham was a nice guy, but last year he struggled, and the media loved talking to him, but he stunk it up on the field, and it was unfortunate. And the Lions butchered his role. He wanted to be a guard, and they're like, go play center. And he's a team guy, but they put him in the wrong spot, and he failed. So now I do think that they're a little bit better with a guy with experience in Juice Scruggs, but he's hurt. So Seth McLaughlin, good luck battling Dexter Lawrence out there in your first preseason game. Get the experience. But I do think that he's better than what people on the internet were saying about him, the guy that couldn't snap the ball against Michigan. He got a little, remember, he went to Ohio State the year after. So he is somebody that is on the Brad Holmes Injury Hall of Fame, coming off of an Achilles, but he's saying that he is in the position now to feel like his old self, and I want to see what he brings to the table. Obviously, I would love Cade Mays, but I do think that the Lions are in a little bit better spot than they were last year.
Now, because that's the question mark is the first handful of games, which, we talked about that, like, who's going to potentially fill in, and you kind of nailed that. But the benefit the Lions have, two things. One, the schedule at the beginning of the year. And on top of that, the fact that Cade Mays did get injured now rather than like, I don't know, like a week before game one or something like that, so he'd be out 10 weeks. What do you think about the kind of the start of the year with those games heading into the bye week and some of those matchups? Because here's the big debate, though, Doc, is like last year the Lions lost to the Steelers and they lost to Max Brosmer, but then this year we're expecting them to take down like the Cardinals or the Jets. I think it's fair to expect that. If you can't beat the Jets or Cardinals right now, we got bigger fish to fry than not having Cade Mays. But what say you through the first kind of couple games there without Cade Mays?
Yeah, my optimism is in part of the reason why, obviously, my initial reaction when I went live on Lone Wolves was to be pissed off because the Lions can't keep their players healthy, but that's just the way of the world. It's just the way things go. But you're right, Cade Mays hopefully can come back in October, and I do think they'll be at least 3-2 minimum, 4-1 to start the year. I think that the Lions, first and foremost, you need that offense to click, and it starts with that offensive line getting that run game going. And so far, you're hearing a little bit that some of the defenders are doing a good job. The Devin Whites of the world are getting into the backfield. Ahmed Hassanin stopping the run. So that's something to keep watching, is how well the Lions run the football at training camp. There's going to be some learning curves, some growing pains with that offensive line. But my goodness, when you have the talent that you have on offense, I expect a blowout against the Saints. You're going to be riled up. The problem is the game against the Bills is 4 days later. They're going to have a rowdy crowd. That's just going to be a mental battle. So I could see the Lions losing that contest, but that'll be a knockout, drag-out contest. Might be an entertaining kind of game, being that both teams are on short rest. But Jets is going to be a war. That's the game I'm a little bit concerned about with the Lions coming out on the other side healthy, because I know that Aaron Glenn is going to unleash his defenders against Blake Miller, against the offensive line, against Seth McLaughlin or Drew Scruggs. I want to see, do the Lions pick up the blitz up the middle? They struggled with that, remember, last year. So I'm excited to see the early portion of the schedule. But, yeah, I expect wins. I expect that the offense is going to click, and those that are expected to dominate are supposed to produce. Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, J-Mo. You lean on those guys early in the year. I expect a good first quarter of the season, and then you get into the nitty-gritty of your schedule.
Doc, my guy, good to talk to you again. And guess what? Another year, another QB controversy at the backup spot. And, we had Teddy Two Gloves officially retire. I thought this team would lean on Luke Altmaier as the number 2 because they seem to like him a lot. But they go out and bring in Josh Dobbs. And I really do like that, because for the first time, it seems like they have a backup QB that if Jared Goff were to go down, you could actually maybe win a game or two. But just your thoughts on the Josh Dobbs signing with the Lions.
And it's always a treat when real players meet. And let's talk quarterbacks. And you realize that, look, I've always just wondered why Jared Goff has been coddled. Why is it that every spot on the roster is open for competition except for Jared Goff? Yeah, I know the money is a factor. And you guys know, good friend John Middlecoff just had the perfect take. He's like, why don't you just draft a quarterback every year? Just find someone, a diamond in the rough. The Colts were able to find a quarterback that can be a solid backup. You realize that there's opportunities for more competition. I know they want nice guys in the room, but first and foremost, Dan Campbell decided that the best backup option was a guy that when he stood on the turf after 2 practices couldn't cut it anymore. that's something to look at. You realize, okay, Dan's loyal to his players, but come on, this is the National Football League. And look, Josh Dobbs, look, you see the pros. He is somebody that understands Drew Petzing's system. He is a guy that's been here before. He understands Dan Campbell, but it's safe. He's a guy that, according to most reports, he'll give you a game if you need it. But if you're going to count on Josh Dobbs to help you if Jared Goff goes down, I'm sorry, I'm here to tell you that's not the case. Kevin O'Connell said, I got to look at him, and he let him go. So that's just the fact of the matter. He's a backup. Now, I'm of the opinion it's time to start looking for Jared Goff's replacement, start to develop somebody. But it's just straightforward, and it applies to a lot of teams. But I don't care what a lot of teams do. I care what the Lions do. If something happens to Jared Goff, your season's over, and everybody knows it. I would hearken to remember that the Patriots drafted a 6th-round quarterback that was pasty white, had the worst combine numbers ever, and he became a all-time great quarterback. Now, that's not likely to happen with the Lions, but the Lions never put themselves in that position because they keep drafting and selecting these, bringing into the roster these journeyman quarterbacks that never even make Jared Goff even whiff of fear or anxiety. I think that, listen, target the quarterback spot and add somebody that can ball. It only helps your team in regards to helping Jared Goff. Altmaier is a project. He's somebody that's not going to make the team, clearly. He's going to be on the practice squad. He's throwing picks left and right. He's a developmental guy. They see something in him, but he ain't somebody that's going to come in and save you. Neither is Josh Dobbs. So it's a tough position. I know it's easier said than done to just go find somebody, but the Detroit Lions got to start to look a little bit to the future because I don't know, if Jared Goff has another 1 or 2 bad playoff games, people, even the slappies, are going to start saying, hey, is it time to look to a real quarterback that can win you a Super Bowl?
Hey, I do want to ask you, Doc, one thing that's been kind of big news on the defense, obviously Devin White signing with the Detroit Lions. What are your thoughts so far at camp of kind of what's coming out of camp of what he's doing? Because it feels like he's kind of the starting will right now. And obviously everyone thought maybe, Derek Barnes would move over or they would have Rodrigo, Trevor Nowaski. Like there was a lot of guys there. Obviously Jimmy Rolder gets hurt. What are the vibes you're getting, though, from a guy like Devin White? Do you think he can kind of take this defense to a different level, or do you think it's just a kind of an okay move just to kind of keep this defense afloat?
Yeah, I wouldn't say take it to another level, but I think he can be a highly productive professional. And it really speaks to what you had behind the starters. Malcolm Rodriguez has been out for a little bit of time. I think that he slides right in. Devin White is somebody that I think takes advantage perfectly of the right fit. I think he's got something to prove. He relishes in a spot where he's comfortable. I think it's great. He's been great against the run, making plays, securing interceptions. It's a great move, great signing. But, he still has some weaknesses in terms of tackling reliability, consistency, and in coverage. There are weaknesses in his game. And you realize, look, every player has their ups and downs, but I like the addition. I think that he should be right there in competition to make the team and to be a starting contributor. Malcolm Rodriguez has a little bit now dipped because of the fact he hasn't been there. But that's great. I think that playing alongside Jack Campbell, Derek Barnes, and having a defensive coordinator who played the position and a position coach in Sean Dion Hamilton, who also played for the Lions, the standard. And it's good. He's fit in. He's earned the trust of the teammates. And, look, I think that when you're a player and you're somebody that's known early in your career to be somebody that can produce and plays on a winning team, and then you go to the Raiders, it makes you psychologically salivate to be around the air of competition with the Lions. There's hope here. There's at least, you can debate, can this team get to the playoffs? The Raiders are really, in the end, to not understate it, they're a shit show. So here in Detroit, it's a little different. The standards are higher. The competition's great. The new leader, Jack Campbell, will make that room special. So I love the addition. I don't think he'll transcend the defense, but he'll make it so that you don't have the big fall off by losing Jimmy Rolder. So if there's any silver lining to an injury, Jimmy Rolder going down got you Devin White. Big time addition.
Doc, I'm going to ask you about Ali McNeil. Apparently the reports are he's been looking like Ali McNeil before he got paid. Very, very dominant Ali McNeil. And I know Tate Ratledge spoke about it, how he could tell just by doing the one-on-ones with him. But what do you think of this D-line in general with all the guys that are kind of stepping up? And Aleem, the importance of Aleem being back to what Aleem was, and that's a very, very good defensive tackle.
Yeah, absolutely. And the funny part is, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, because I'm right now 99.999% dialed into the Lions, but I am golfing more, swimming more, getting outside a little bit more now that I'm not going out there. If it was me, I would be like, Dan, who chopped Cade Mays? He'd be like, it was a defensive lineman. A player on the starting defensive line? Was it a second stringer? Who chopped Cade Mays? I would be pestering his ass. Nobody, I don't even know if anybody even asked the question. Or if they revealed if it was Tyleek, Aleem, maybe it was Aleem, Aleem the Dream whacking Cade Mays. But, the funny part is he kind of slipped that in there in the quotes. Oh, yeah, it was just a freak accident. One of our defensive linemen busted up Cade Mays. I want to know who. I want to know who did it to Cade Mays. And somebody tell me in the chat if it's been revealed or talked about publicly and officially reported. But look, you got to be violent. You got to be aggressive. And I love the fact that Aleem McNeil is going to hopefully earn some of that big-time money. Last year, it wasn't the case. ACL injury wasn't great. Yeah, he's doing everything that he needs to do. Look, when you don't play good and you have your own competitive standards and you look on film and it looks like that, where you're a little bit slower, your team defense was giving up explosive run after explosive run, and everybody knows that you're back, but you're only like 65% of your normal self. He said he couldn't sleep at night watching that garbage film. So now he's in a much better spot. He's comfortable. He feels ready to go. And I expect a nice season from Aleem the Dream. And him and then Tyleek Williams have to secure the interior of that defensive line. I think they will. I think that he'll take advantage of if there's extra attention given to Aiden. And I think that, putting in a couple more defensive linemen, if you have 5 down defensive linemen alongside with some defensive end, along with Ahmed Hassanin, Tyler Lacey, that's going to open things up for Aleem McNeil. I think the benefit of having defensive ends that are going to be in a position to help out, I think that Aleem McNeil and Tyleek can maybe even get a couple more pressures than they did last year. So I'm expecting big things. It's good. You're hearing positive things. And so far, so good in regards to Aleem McNeil and having a great start to training camp.
Hey, with the preseason game tomorrow, Doc, what are some battles that you're looking for in a game tomorrow? Are you looking at the secondary, at the corner position, defensive line, obviously the guard position? Where are you kind of specifically? What are a couple battles that you're going to have your eyes on versus the Bengals tomorrow?
Yeah, also too the backup linebacker spot too. Joe Bacci is starting to come on. You realize that they added a former Ram as well to the mix, so there's some nice competition there. I want to see the defensive ends. I want to see does Ahmed Hassanin against real competition? Does he, against a different opponent other than the Lions, can he handle business? So I'm very excited to see. And then obviously in the secondary, man, that's been interesting to see the ups and downs of Ennis Rakestraw. Started the camp a little bit better, and you realize lately, I think Dan called him out. I think that some of the assessments that people are looking at it when they read into Dan Campbell's comments, and I think that Dan Campbell brought in Trayvon Diggs to let the not to sign him, to let the secondary know, step up, be consistent. And then Dan Campbell said it. When Dan Campbell says, I need you to stack days, I mean, the easy way to read it is that some days Ennis is good, some days Ennis is atrocious. And you can't get beat deep by Malik Cunningham. That just can never happen. And so I'm fascinated to see, can a Nick Whiteside, even if he doesn't maybe play as much tomorrow, can he continue his progress? I want to see, does a Keith Abney step it up and have a chance to play at a high level? So, look, the guard spot, you're right. Miles Frazier is a player that needs to earn his keep. Who's going to step up and be a player that can be a reliable tackle? Is it Devin Cochran? Is it somebody else? I want to see how do some of the reserves look. So I'm excited, man. Even though it's going to be funny to me, I can't stop laughing to think about Dexter Lawrence lining up against Seth McLaughlin. It's going to be funny. So I hope they don't get embarrassed when you got, maybe T. Higgins and Jamar Chase lining up against, Keith Abney and Khalil Dorsey. I just find that to be hilarious. If that's the case, maybe it's a little different, but it's a little chess game. You just want to get out of there. Listen, first and foremost, the number one goal, be healthy. Come out of the game healthy, and I want to see the other thing that really intrigues me. Does Altmaier, under pressure, deliver the football to the deepest wide receiver room potentially in the National Football League?
I do want to ask too. I know we haven't really gotten a chance to talk to you about the actual extension. I know you've talked about it on your own YouTube channel, but we had you on, we talked about it, and then he got signed. What do you think about the actual deal? Now that it's out, the details are out. We've had time for that kind of to settle. But the Jahmyr Gibbs extension, how are you feeling today? How they got that done? The amount, the structure, all of that.
Yeah, it's a professional deal. The Lions have been fine in regards to setting up deals that put them in a position to be able to sign players. It's a good deal. They really haven't, other than maybe you could say because of bad luck, Ali McNeil, Kirby Joseph, and the JMO deal at the timing of it. But you realize, look, you spend $1 billion, you're going to have to finally eventually just cap it off with the Super Bowl. You can't give out $1 billion in extensions and not cap it off. You can't do that. That's the pathway for your job security to not be good. And remember, Dan Campbell, I believe, and Brad Holmes, their contract runs up not the end of this year, but the end of 27. So maybe this year might be telling where I wonder if Sheila Hemp would let Dan and Brad go into their final year as lame ducks. That would be a boss move. If they don't make the playoffs, I don't automatically give them an extension. So I look at Jahmyr Gibbs and you realize, okay, $22.5 million. It's just wild to think about running back. And now tight ends are looking for kind of the same kind of number. So tight end, running back, quarterback. I mean, it is wild to think about the investment you got to make to have a good offense. And now we're not even talking about defensive ends and offensive linemen that are starting to make north of $20 million. It's an expensive proposition to put together really quality, talented teams. But look, arguably, I am more of a wait and see approach. Like I would have maybe just wanted to see how does Jahmyr Gibbs hold up like to this? Like now Cade Mays is not available. How does that change things? So look, they paid him based on what they think he'll do. And by and large, it's going to be a safe gamble. But I just would have liked to have seen 1 year of bell cow Jahmyr Gibbs and then just paid him the following year. But that's just really nitpicking in the grand scheme of things. It's an A-plus deal. It's fine. It's your choice. It's really your decision. It's not no clear black and white, right or wrong. If you can invest money in different spots and you can decide to, look at positional value and look at other type things if you want to spend money in different spots. But I think the money that you're going to spend on Jahmyr Gibbs is fingers crossed going to result in a dominant top 3 running back that can get the ball out of the backfield, that can be explosive, that can get a lot of touches and targets and be somebody that out of the pass game, he blocks. He does everything that you would want. Fingers crossed the offensive line holds up because, you're behind the starters, you're starting to get a little light in depth in certain areas.
What do you think with that safety room, Doc? Obviously, the Kirby situation. Actually, a two-part question. I want to ask you about the Kirby stuff. Where are you at with that? Obviously, no one really knows. He's away from the team right now, some personal stuff, so no one really knows. But where are you at with that, the Brian Branch recovery, and then this safety room as a whole going into the year with Chuck Clark, Avante, and some of those guys in this kind of second level of the defense?
Yeah, no, it's funny. You know what? You don't know what you got until it's gone. I miss Kirby Joseph's tweet storms. I'm like, you know what? I can't speak on both sides of my mouth. I'm like, this guy's got to be professional. He should not be tweeting all this stuff. And then he's gone. It's like, oh, this is boring again. Nobody's talking to the doc. Nobody's ripping. Nobody's reading the doc stuff. In terms of the players, it was fun to have him while he was doing his thing. But listen, in all seriousness, I hope that the personal matter resolves itself, that he can get back. Look, it's just Dan Campbell's trying to be as optimistic as possible. I do hope that he's available to play in the first quarter of the season. It would be a huge bonus. I think a huge emotional lift if the player, but you also have to take into account, I understand fans want to be on the soul side of optimism. I get it. But on the other side, you also have to take a realistic look. It's been many, many months, and he's yet to do a full range of full athletic football activities. So it's still a big gamble. It's just like an unopened Christmas box. We don't know what's inside that knee. We don't know how it's going to handle a full-on practice. How are they going to use him? How are they going to run practice? Does he practice once a week? Not at all, and just plays in the games? So there's so many question marks, but I'm very proud of what they've done, at least to acknowledge that it's real. It's something there. And I like the starting combo of Avante Maddox and Chuck Clark. I think they've made plays. They've been around the football. They're making Jared Goff work a little extra. So I like that. And I like Izzy at the nickel spot. So it can be okay to get you by, but I can't wait for on the hope side, if you can get anything out of Branch and Kirby Joseph this year, that's just a bonus. That's just something that in the middle portion of the year when your schedule gets tougher, if you can get consistent play out of high-end top talent potential in Kirby Joseph, that makes your defense so much better. That's the goal for the defense this year. It's going to be bend, don't break. They're going to give up points. They're going to give up explosives. It's just too hard. The level of talent on offense is legitimately really something to behold in the conference, in the division, across the National Football League. You just want to be able to, at key moments, be able to stop the football and get those one or extra turnovers. And Kirby and Brian Branch can do that for you. So I hope we get to see it.
Doc, I want to ask you about the starters playing. I know this week you're not going to see them, but just for the preseason, Dan already kind of hinted in the past that they want to give these guys a run. Golf Competent said, whatever they need out of me, I'll play. What's your take on playing starters in the preseason? I know a lot of teams do it, a lot of teams don't. So it's more just to each his own. We've seen teams win without doing it. We've seen teams win doing it, like the Chiefs. What do you think about playing some of these starters in the preseason? How important is that to get those guys out there at some point for some reps? So week one, it doesn't look like last year against the Packers.
Yeah, no, it's really fascinating, right? And also, too, remember, guys, you hate to say it, but September football really is kind of trash. There's a lot of missed tackles week one, a lot of miscommunication. It's basically a pseudo preseason because a lot of teams don't want to invest in having starters play. And the Lions, I've agreed with it. You know, if you remember back in the day, a lot of the old timers in the chat, Steve Mariucci, I believe, was the coach and stupidly played James Stewart in a preseason game at the end of the preseason. And of course, what happens? He suffers a major injury. So you just can't. It's just too much of a gamble. But the problem becomes you basically spend the first 4 games playing catch up, trying to catch up to the real speed of the game. So there's pros and cons to it. But I think for the Lions, who are just cursed with bad luck injury wise, I think that you just avoid it at all costs. But, you know, if you want to get a better look at guys in competition, you definitely do need to see Blake Miller get out there and compete against live opponents. You do need some guys that – and what it's for. I do think that the plan should be simple. There should be 1 preseason game at most or 2 and run an 18-game schedule. Just run it that way. And let's not make it so that these coaches have to be put in that tough position where on one hand, if you don't play starters, your team looks like garbage like the Lions against the Packers. But on the other, if you do, if something terrible happens to Blake Miller, the coach is kind of in a no-win spot. So I'm down for 2. And plus, the NFL does not discount those tickets in the preseason. The Lions fans are going to be subjected to watching guys they never heard of and pay $400 for a ticket. So it's just ridiculous at that point to not have the price be significantly reduced in the preseason. But, you know, in the end, I think that for the Lions, do not play any starters and just figure it out in the regular season.
No starters at all, Doc, really?
No, I mean, they're going to, but, you know, look, the variable factor is the Lions always have bad luck, you know, in regards to if you're going to play Jared Goff like a series, he's going to hand it off once or twice. What's he really going to get also against competition too, that maybe the opponent is not going to play their starters? So do you really get an evaluate? Look, just on the example, what is Joe Burrow going to learn from throwing the football against Keith Abney? It's timing. It's, you know, seeing if the connection's still strong with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. But that's not going to determine the success. So I think that you need a practice game. The practice game should be for guys number 30 to number 90 competing for jobs to become those starters. And that's what it's for. It's to see, hey, can a player step up and make plays? For example, like a Nick Whiteside who's making plays in camp. Okay, Nick Whiteside, you go guard Jamar Chase. Show us what you got. Can you compete? Or a Joe Bacci who's competing for a linebacker spot. Hey, go out there and make plays, stop the run, and go and see what you're about. It's for guys like that. The Eric Hunters of the world, where special teams coach Dave Phipps says, I expect Eric Hunter to have 1 million tackles in the preseason. It's for guys like that. And I think that's what it really should be for. It's really should be, let's try out they should just be official tryouts for the 53-man, and that's what it should be used for, because the risk is too great. If something happens to Amon-Ra St. Brown in a home game against the Commanders, that means jack squat, it'll cause an uproar.
What do you think, too? By the way, Dan had a lot to say about Jared Goff, said that he's kind of looking at his best, taking even a bigger step forward this year. What are your thoughts on the season this year for a guy like Jared Goff? Do you think he can kind of, 2 years ago he was in that MVP conversation. Do you think that's one of those years for him, or do you think it's just kind of a normal year for a guy like Jared Goff?
No, it's time, man. I think that, I like what I'm hearing in that with each passing year, his desperation and hunger to win, it grows up. He's not accepting just any old play being run. He wants the standard to be high. You realize, okay, you're 31 years old. The chances are limited. And he also understands, too, that, you don't get 20 years, maybe in Detroit, to try and take a crack at it. But he's only got 1 or 2 years left to realistically take movements to get this team forward because of the fact that it's just the way it is. You can sit there and argue and say, quarterbacks should be given a decade with the program. It doesn't work like that. It's just not. People are not patient. They're not going to wait for Jared Goff in years 7, 8, 9, 10 to try and win a Super Bowl. So the time is now. They've given you everything you need, brother. It's time to cash it in. You've gotten all your markers. You've gotten all the free tokens you need. You got all the toys you need. How many more toys can they realistically give you? You got one of the best tackles in the league. You got a top first-round pick at right tackle. You got draft picks invested in your offensive line. You got the highest paid running back. You got Jamo, who's going to be, I think, a player in this year. You got everything you need. Now it's just up to Goff and that offensive line to put the puzzle together and make it happen. I could see bold prediction. I got 2. I don't know which one I'm going to chamber and write about, but I got 2. I think Jared Goff can throw for 5,000 yards this year, and I think that my other bold prediction is Kelvin Shepard gets fired in week 8 or so, and they go with a more veteran defensive coordinator, maybe even Jim O'Brien, who's had experience. So those are bold predictions. I don't think that Kelvin Shepard will get, I think that there's more of a chance that he'll be successful, but it's just too hard when you have so much turnover and things like that. So that's a bold prediction, but I do think on the other side, the positive side, Jared Goff, baby, 5,000 yards, play action works. When you have, it's all going to be predicated on obviously the offensive line. If Jahmyr Gibbs is Alvin Kamara, that's going to make things so luscious for Jared Goff. So 5,000 yard potential, 5,000 yard watch, MVP watch. Doc said it.
Well, Doc, we talked about Roger McCreary, the signing that the Lions had. You expected him to start at nickel. Dan wanted Izzy in there to begin, but he was out. But the thing about Roger McCreary is it has not been positive, to say the least. I mean, at least the reporting has been he's been up and down. I know Ennis has been up and down, but Ennis is also someone who doesn't have a lot of reps. Roger's, at this point, played years in the NFL. Just looking at that, all the corners they currently have in the room, you talked about Nick Whiteside, and you kind of talked about him, but specifically Roger McCreary. Who are some guys in your mind, Doc, are kind of on that bubble? Maybe guys that could potentially be cut that could be surprising or not surprising, and does Roger McCreary kind of land on that list?
Yeah, no, in terms of cut, Roger McCreary has not had the best camp. I mean, it's up and down, not consistent. You wanted to see more. He's a free agent. And again, you got to be able to prove it in this league. And it's tough too. Remember, Dan Campbell said the wide receivers room is one of the toughest. And it's not an easy feat to just say, go guard Tom Kennedy. He's got experience, many years of experience, and he's a savvy vet. So I think that's an interesting proposition. Look, let's start with the basics. Cut Peyton Turner. Look, I don't care. I don't want to see what he brings to the table. Give the job to Ahmed, more reps for him. Listen, I don't want guys that are in the Brad Holmes Injury Hall of Fame that are injured again. Look, it's unfortunate, but a day-to-day back just leads me to believe that it's always going to be an issue. That's what he is. So cut him right now, and I think you get better right away by adding somebody else, a body that can get out on the field. I do think I'm curious to see the safety battle. Do they keep both Izzy and Avonte Maddox? I think that, early on, maybe the talk would have been they just kept one because of the emergence of Thomas Harper and others. But I think that Maddox has kind of shown that he can be still starter potential. So the safety spot is very much in competition. I think that, a player that they still want around, but that could be a surprise cut is Dan Jackson. He started to make plays, but again, he's a lower round pick, and it's an uphill climb in regards to players. I think he'll always, have an opportunity on the practice squad, but that's a name to pay attention to. He's got to have a big preseason. You realize that the safety room is deep. Him and Lauren Strickland have both played well, but are they good enough compared to veterans? And if Kirby Joseph is there, now you have to take a look at it in regards to the safeties. In terms of, other surprises, I'm fascinated to see the wide receiver competition. Cedric Wilson is doing a great job. Tom Kennedy, I think, might have a chance to make the team. The competition with him and Greg Dortch is very fascinating. Again, it's an interesting look at it. And so it's not a surprise. I think Roger McCreary could be cut in regards to the fact that if Abney steps up in the preseason, and you see him make plays, I'm not going to be hurt by losing Roger McCreary because of the fact he's bounced around the league. I don't think it would be a drastic loss in that sense. So he's got to step it up. And bottom line too, Ennis Rakestraw has to step it up. I mean, he's lost his job at this moment to Nick Whiteside. And so I want to see him fight for the job. I want to see him respond to what Dan Campbell said and actually stack those days. And, I'm fascinated to see how he responds to being publicly called out. And he's a player that, people say, well, he's a rookie. He's only his first real year out. No, he's not a rookie. Third year in, he's been in meetings, and he's had basically the same defensive coaching staff. So now it's about showing it. He's a second-round pick, so that means go out there and do it. So I do think that the coaching, first and foremost, let's clap. Had 11 practices. He's still healthy. So that's a positive sign at training camp. So I'm excited to see how it all shakes out the rest of the way.
Hey, just a little pivot. Just want to ask you about the Tigers, Doc. Obviously, they've crawled out of this hole that they dug themselves back in May. One game back of 500 now and have a chance this week to take over the division. What are your thoughts on this Tigers team, where they're at as a franchise and kind of moving forward this year?
Yeah, look, I just finished before I came on here recording Doc and Jock with Adam, and I said, the psychology of sports is really beautiful, and that's why I love the blessing of studying psychology. And that's where, when you look at NFL teams and covering them now, myself since 2013 and being a reporter since 2019, noise is toxic for locker rooms and Major League Baseball clubhouses. So the Tariq Skubal, while he was a good player, he represented noise. And removing that noise, I think, freed up the players to be more relaxed. There really is no expectation. They're like, let's go, let's wing it. And so I think when you're free of that pressure, you kind of feel better. And that's kind of how I feel a little bit too. Like, when you're out there reporting live, you're just trying to catch every single note, write every single thing, compete. Now that I'm not there, I'm relaxed. I'm writing. The numbers are up. I'm like, how the hell are more people reading me given the circumstances? And people are subscribing. And because I have no pressure, I don't care about, did I tiptoe on this person's foot? Did I say this, write this? Did I not say this, not say that? I didn't remember half the rules that they sent me. So there's no pressure. You just go and execute, do your job. And what I was good at was analyzing what I saw on the field and exploring. It's the same thing I'm doing now. Now, to tie it to the Tigers, the pressure's off. They can go out there. Nobody in the world expects them to win the World Series. They're just going out there playing free, and they got the injection of youth. Melton, Max Clark, McGonigal. It's great. So removing the noise was a great thing. And look, it sucks that they had to trade and sell, but the blessing is only the Tigers can get to that luck where they sell in a year where the American League is absolute garbage. It's garbage. It's a curve. So basically, for those of you college students that listen in the chat, it's basically, that you're really getting a 68 on your test. But unfortunately, there's an asshat like me in the world where I always broke the curve, and I would show up with an 85 on the test, and everyone would be like, God dang it, John, stop setting the curve. And so people had to perform better. Look, the Tigers are really a 68 team. They got holes. But when they're graded on a curve in a piss poor American League, you can have some fun with it. You can get to the postseason, take your swings, but you're not in the competition of the Dodgers, Phillies, Yankees. You're not in that group. Your bullpen's not good enough. You have inconsistency at times in your batting lineup, but hell, enjoy the ride. You're going to the playoffs. I mean, there's momentum there. Enjoy it. But what excites me is when you can kind of see, all right, there's a core here. There's some talent that can potentially actually meet the dream of what these general managers are actually spitting out to you people. I think the Tigers are set up for sustained success over the next couple years, where they can get to the postseason, take a couple cracks at it, add a couple bats, bullpen arms, and really do it right. So I'm kind of more optimistic for the future. But right now, enjoy the ride. It's great. They're watchable. And there's some stars there that you can build on. So getting rid of Tariq Skubal, the one thing that was crazy is he's delusional, trying to talk about the Tigers wanting to offer. Nobody in Detroit wants you back, bro. It's over. Go somewhere else. Go flirt. You wanted the money? No problem. Detroit fans want players that are loyal to the organization. And we don't blame you for wanting the money, but stop saying you want to stay in this marriage. It's over. The divorce happened. You're not getting remarried again to the Tigers. They would be crazy to even look at offering him another contract. Let him get his big money somewhere else. Let the Tigers invest wisely and win a World Series with a nice youthful group of energy and then spending money in different spots.
Well, Doc, we appreciate you so much. You guys can follow Doc at Detroit Podcast. Keep the great coverage, my friend. We'll catch you next Wednesday to kind of talk about this preseason game tomorrow, which, by the way, we'll be at Art and Jake's for in Clarkson.
We will be.
Doing the watch party. But, Doc, we appreciate you so much, my friend.
Thank you, guys. Make sure you keep following Detroit Sports Podcast. We're doing everything big and bold, and, it's a little fun without the shackles of some rules, man. It's fun. And guess what, guys? Dan Campbell is looking like himself a little bit more. Not as funny, but I like to see a little bit more of the Dan Campbell that we're seeing now, as opposed to, I don't know, maybe when they removed the doc, Dan Campbell got a lot happier. So maybe that's the case. So thank me for the happy Dan Campbell.
There you go. John Macron, Detroit Lions on SI.
Appreciate you, Doc.
Let's go to break. We'll double up here. We got Art and Jake's and Gold Crown.
Yes, let me tell you guys about Art and Jake's. Guys, look at this. I just got this today. New Art and Jake's merch, guys. This is unbelievable. I don't even know. It just showed up on the front porch here, and it's incredible. And I'm going to rock it every day. But we will be there, guys, tomorrow at Art and Jake's. Our crew, Art and Jake's in Clarkston, Thursday for the Detroit Lions preseason watch party. If you're around that area and you're watching the game, you might as well just come stop by, grab some food, some drinks with the fellas. We're going to be there from the kickoff all the way until the end of the game, just watching the game, having a good time. We get to see Luke Altmaier play some football.
Shout out.
Luke Altmaier and potentially
Josh Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs. The Pasternaut. We get to see him. So make sure you guys come over, enjoy some great food, cold drinks. It is the best game day atmosphere, guys, and we will be there to help it get even better. And it's gonna be a great time. KJ, are you coming?
Don't know, because I might be at Grind Time Wrestling. Shout out.
If you're not there, we'll get you there next time. It'll be a fun time, guys. It's Art and Jake's. Go check it out. It's a sports bar setting with a fine dining flavor.
And before you go into Art and Jake's, you might want to puff on some of this Gold Crown, because it'll make that meal hit that much better when you're watching Lions preseason football. And in particular, we're talking about the Royal Jesters, man. The 1.5 grams each, and they are quad infused, Keef coated, live resin infused, THCA diamonds and terpenes, all packed into 4 layers of the Lions are going to get their first dub in the preseason. Michigan made, top tier, no shortcuts. Next time you're at the dispo, don't think, just ask for the Royal Jesters, because if you're going to smoke, come on, y'all, smoke like royalty.
Dan Campbell is in redemption mode.
No, make no mistake. It's not revenge he's after. It's a reckoning.
And Woodward Sports is here to cheer on the Detroit Lions every snap. Don't miss a moment of Detroit Lions coverage. Follow Woodward Sports on all social media platforms now.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Toughest sports network in Detroit. But we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Shout out to DBK in the chat. He called me the weed read goat, and I take that job very, very seriously. So I appreciate that. But Big shout out to the people over at Mad Packs, and they are coming with the maddest of packs, in particular in the gummy form. They got the Boom Shakalaka 200 milligram hash rosin gummies and the Hilo 200 milligram live resin gummies, alongside the brand new Mad Packs extracts, blizzard packs, pre-rolls, and flour, and a little THC syringe for your troubles as well. So go to getmadpacks.com today. Mad flavor, mad high, Mad Packs. And while you shopping, you know you got to grab you some of this Amnesia, man. And they are bringing a whole new meaning to a smooth finish. We all like blunts, right? Come on, if you're a smoker, you know you love blunts. So say hello to the new 1.5 gram bubble hash glass tip infused blunt from Amnesia, combining premium bubble hash with a sleek glass tip for a new way to enjoy the classic. It's the latest addition to the rapidly growing Amnesia lineup, and it's available at a dispensary near you. A smoother way to stand out. It's Amnesia.
We're back. It's crunch time. Woodward Sports. Hit the like button on the stream.
KG, you love some bubble gum, don't you?
Oh, well, yeah.
Not stepping in it.
Oh, that's what you was laughing about. It's a pet peeve. It is.
When I saw that on the screen, and then, yeah.
We were at the Tigers game yesterday. KG, we sat in our seats, and KG steps in gum
the
on the
biggest
ground.
thing of gum.
Don't it just piss you off when you step in gum, bro?
Oh,
go ahead, Caleb. My bad.
It's the fucking worst.
Thank you.
He lifted his foot up like all the way in the air, and it was like,
And KG goes, man, this is my pet peeve.
I can't say that. I didn't sound like an unk. You
No,
was right.
I was like, oh, KG, this is how I know you're getting to that unk status, because like out of all the pet peeves you could I never really think about it, stepping in gum.
Well,
until you do it.
Until you do it. But KG was like, I hate when this happens. I'm like, dude, I haven't stepped in gum in like 10 years.
Bro.
How often does this happen
But
to
that's
you?
how I felt like in 2026. Why are we still putting our gum on the ground, people?
That's
you
a
can
good point.
stick it to
Right.
a chair,
Yeah.
do anything, but just throw it on the fucking ground.
That was the biggest piece of gum.
It was big as fuck, bro.
I was dying.
My man chewing Hubba Bubba and shit.
We're in the seats and everyone's looking at KG. And it's like, why is this gum
Caleb,
everywhere?
when he picked his feet up, that shit stretched 5
Oh, it
feet.
was like,
bro.
dude,
Like
if
a
he
dark-
could
Like
have lifted his
Spider-Man
foot
webbed
up,
me or something. Like,
Yeah.
I think he could have stretched that 20 feet if he wanted to. It
That
was
sucks.
insane.
That sucks.
DBK
Oh,
says,
dude.
them amnesias will have you doing the fentanyl.
no, real stuff, man. I got amnesia myself. They hit hard. Shout out. Fucking gum in 2026. Get over
That was
it.
one of the
Do
funniest
better.
things I've ever heard.
Do better, people.
Oh, my God.
That's one of my biggest pet peeves. It's 2026.
Where would you rank? Is that in like that's a top 3 pet peeve of yours?
Well, yeah, just stepping in either gum or shit. That's definitely
Sure.
up there.
Shit.
'cause
Oh, dude.
Oh my God, bro. It's so hard to get off your shoe. Oh my God, that's the worst.
Did you get it off fully though?
No, it's
No, it's
a
still on there?
Still a little piece
Oh,
on there.
man.
So it is what it is. I won't be wearing no shoes for a while. So.
I don't know if you guys.
no.
I don't know if you guys in the chat saw, but Sheila Fordham spoke to Fox 2.
Oh.
And she was asked about last year, the Lions, where they are. I think the last time that Sheila spoke to the media, at least it was after that disappointing year, or at least disappointing start to the year, where it was like a big time. Well, she spoke to the media, but like this is the last time that she really spoke to me, when they were 1-6, and she was like, hey, be patient. And they ended up going on a run, almost making the playoffs. So she did speak to Fox 2. I have the quote. I don't know if I could just read it if you want.
I mean, I could throw it up there too.
If it looks good, throw it up, and I'll read it so people can read along if it works. But here's the quote. This is what Sheila Fordham said to Fox 2. She said, 9-8 is a winning season, but that wasn't good enough for us. It's not what we expected. It's not where our standards are. So we, top to bottom, we went through everything about last year and what we could have done differently, what went wrong, what went right. We really have done a thorough self-searching exercise, and I think we've identified several things we could have done better, and hopefully we've corrected them. The entire organization is aligned to the fact that we want to do what we want to do, and that is to bring a winner to the city of Detroit. Now the question is, do you believe that they have done enough, or do you think the corrections that they've made are good enough to bring a winner to the city of Detroit? I think the part of what you said that is absolutely true, and I believe this now, the organization is aligned. I do think that. I think Dan and Brad may have disagreements, but overall they are pretty aligned with where the franchise is. But the question is, have they done enough? I do not think they have. I don't. And I've had that take, because if we look at last season and look at the last handful of seasons, and we're asking ourselves what needs to change for them to be a winner, it's the defense. And they still have not done enough defensively to be good. So that's my only pushback to, have they done enough or can they correct what happened last season? I'll tell you what, the offensive line's better. So they did correct that. Obviously, the health of Brian and Kirby still a question mark, so that's not really their fault. That's just, hey, they're going to come back when they come back, and that could certainly help your defense. But my concern has always been and will continue to be until as I get to cover the Detroit Lions, I get to see a defense worth a shit, and I have not seen that yet. So until that is proven, I will say, yes, the Lions have done enough, but that has not happened yet. So as much as I love Sheila Ford speaking out, I'm going to stand on where I've been this entire time, which I don't think the Lions are contenders, and it's because of that defense. So, no, I don't think they've corrected that, and I think that's going to be a massive liability this year.
Yeah, I think the only thing with that, and it's people in the chat are putting it, like she's saying a lot, really saying nothing, because at the end of the day, it's like she's like, oh, we made the changes necessary. Like, what changes? Like, I don't even look at it football-wise. I look at it as organizational-wise. What full changes have, like, there was really no changes, right? Your defense was bad. You kept your DC. Like, that's how I look at it with Sheila. You can't really, like, player-wise, player personnel, like, that's a Brad thing. With Sheila, when she's like, hey, as an organization, top to bottom, we're trying to change some things. Can I go around the room? Does anyone know what they changed this offseason?
It's not an offseason thing, but the only thing I could think of is the firing of John Morton. That's the only thing.
But that's it. But that's a Dan Campbell thing. Yeah. Like I think for like in the offseason, like for her saying that. And listen, I love Sheila Hamp. I think what she's done has been incredible. No one's ever done it in Detroit, so you give her all the credit for that. I think that was just like, hey, I'm on TV or wherever the interview came from. But it was more so like a, hey, I need to have a statement for the fans. Like, what are you going to tell them? Like, we really
I'm not mad at her.
No, not at her, but I think it's just more so like, hey, like, you guys are changing things. What was changed? Really? Like Rod Wood's leaving. He's stepping down, though. He's retiring. So is that the change that maybe there was a conversation? I don't know. But, like, there was nothing for me when I hear that statement of, hey, from top down, we're making all these changes to do it differently because we want to bring you a championship. What are those changes then? Because we really haven't seen them. The only thing different is they brought an edge rusher in Derek Morin and DJ Wanham, offensive line. But as an organization as a whole, maybe it's Dan Campbell going and working with the defense. Like maybe that's the change. I don't know.
There's change. Real quick, there's change, and then there's needed change. Needed change is John Morton for sure because he was terrible. So Drew Petzing and Mike Kafka, I do think is part of that. Also needed change is you needed to revamp this defense. Like, and again, you could talk about the resources they have. That's not my issue. I'm just talking about what this team actually, what the talent actually consists of. They have not had a good defense under Dan Campbell. Not saying it's Dan's fault. Well, it is Dan's fault because he hires the coordinators, but he's not the defensive coordinator. They have not had a good defense. That is part of the must-needed change. Okay, offensive line, that is another part they changed. They needed to change that. But you're talking about a team that, again, defense has been their weakest point. The liability of this team has been the defense, but all I'm seeing is continuous offensive improvement. New coordinator, new O-line. Let's bring in Mike Kafka. Guys, the biggest focus in should be the defense. And that's where, like, to answer your question, like, what have they changed? Well, nothing about the defense. They haven't. They haven't even brought in another guy. They haven't made a single change on the defensive staff. If you want to argue, if you want to argue with me about keeping Calvin, fine. At least bring in like a Kafka that you did on offense for Calvin. Like, at least bring in another guy that can assist on this defense and give them fresh eyes. They didn't even do that. They don't have anyone else. They've kept the same exact defensive coaching staff, that, again, part of these guys were with Aaron Glenn as well, that they just have not been good enough, and part of that's on Brad Holmes' of course from a personnel standpoint. Yeah. But like overall, that's the much needed
also
change
too
that has not changed.
One of the I will give credit a little bit. I don't know if this is good or bad change, but they did get younger, right? Like they let go of Ansel, they let go of some key pieces on this team, and maybe that's where Sheila looks at it like, hey, we had guys maybe that have been here a long time, and we haven't been able to get over the hump with those guys. So let's try and get new guys in here. That's the only other change I could think of, but that could also be looked at as a negative because you are losing vets in this building, and you are kind of getting younger, which isn't always the best. It's like, yeah, young talent, but you're losing those vets. So listen, I think we can all agree in this room, we all love Sheila. I think Sheila, like I said before, incredible job. We've never seen it. We have never had an owner like this in the Lions organization. But saying, hey, we've changed a lot, where are they? Because right now we're running back the same thing, and especially on the money side of things, right? you're just paying your guys. You're not going out and getting more guys. And it's like we're running this. It's running the same thing over and over again. So, yeah, I don't know. Did they change the scouting department? No. Did they change the training staff was one that popped in my head. Maybe they have different trainers. I don't think they did. I think that maybe they made minor changes to it, but I think they still have a similar training staff, strength staff. That's what I look at when an owner says something.
Yeah.
Like, those are the changes I start to go to. And to Jeff's point, I think the number one thing that you needed to make changes on in this organization as a whole was somewhere in the defensive staff. And there was not one change made in the defensive staff. Jim O'Neil, sorry. I think he got promoted to, like,
Right.
I don't know. Like
assistant
head coach
Maybe
or
they
something.
got faith in them. I mean, who knows? But first and foremost, I do appreciate Sheila when she comes out and does things like this, because for the longest time, the Lions would just absolutely suck or underperform, undermeet expectations, and you wouldn't hear anything from, the owner, Willie Clay, whatever. So I do appreciate that, because even, as soon as they missed the playoffs, she came out with the press release, saying that, she wanted to see things be different. And, I mean, it is hard to pinpoint the changes right now. I think that y'all are absolutely correct in y'all assessment of it. And, maybe on a smaller scale, because she did say several things were identified. So, on a smaller scale, maybe it's, how they're handling training camp and practices this year in terms of being a little less physical, trying to do a better job of accounting for injuries and things of that nature. But I think she means this more in like the long-term sense. And Booner, I think you were hitting on something by, maybe it's a change in philosophy. Maybe it's, maybe we won't be as loyal to players going forward. Some of these guys that have been a part of our rise that we absolutely love here, maybe it is time to cut ties with some of these players and move in a different direction. Maybe Brad going forward will be a little more aggressive. Not, of course, not the aggressive that we want, like a Howie Roseman or a Les Snead, but maybe he does, have a change in philosophy and does try to get out in the trade market a little more. Maybe he stops going for, injury-prone type players going forward. So I think she may be speaking to changes of that nature, but as of right now, it is hard to identify that change in one offseason, especially when we haven't really seen much. They're still operating kind of like business as usual.
I do think that a change can be, as crazy as this sounds, like when you built the culture, when she took over and brought Dan and Brad in, they built that culture, right? Like we've never had that culture in Detroit. They built that from the ground up, the grit, all of that.
Yeah.
I think you could argue that last year a lot of that got like slipped through the cracks, whether it was coaching, whether it was players, whether it was front office, whatever it was. I think it's a fact. They went 9-8. They struggled. You could tell when you watched them or when you saw press conferences. We talked about it all the time. Even Dan in some press conferences last year, you were like this isn't Dan Campbell. Like what is he like? Why is he acting like this? So I think it slipped through the cracks. Maybe some of that was, like a change of, we need to get back to that identity. Because I don't think that since this offseason, have you guys seen a press conference or anything that even feels like last year? Because last year, I think, Jeff, me and you did a million shows last year. There were times we watched press conferences and we were like, what is this? Like, why is John Morton arguing or doing this back and forth? Why are players doing this in the media? Why is Dan... This year you haven't seen any of that. So, I think maybe that's a change where it's like, hey, let's get back to where we were in 2024. Let's get that identity back a little bit because we've let too much of it slip through the cracks.
I like that.
That's also a thing. Also, too, Steve-O, baby, I just want to shout out Steve-O. But he said, Booner, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to give Sheila her flowers until she wins a Super Bowl because I'm a fan and I'm not her friend and I'm a fan and I'm not going to sugarcoat anything.
That's fair.
It's fair, but also, Sheila's done what no one's done here.
Yeah.
And I think, let's take records away from everything. Let's just look at culture and what this organization is right now. What Sheila has done since day one, we have never had. Never. And I'm talking about culture-wise. Yeah. Not wins, losses, not just culture-wise. They are literally and someone said it on, it was like ESPN or something. Someone was like, hey, the crazy thing about the Lions is they just went 9-8, and that was underperforming.
Yeah.
And it felt like the fact that Sheila, as an owner, has taken this organization to where we're sitting here and the expectation is being better than 9-8 and going farther in the we've just never had, even with Stafford, Cal, all these guys, we've never had that. So I do understand that you do want to get to that next point.
We're past the we never been there.
But you can't be I'm not giving her flowers. Hey, have some flowers. You have turned this organization upside down. Obviously, you want to get to the Super Bowl.
No, and
end goal, get it.
Yeah, the reason I appreciate it is because if you want to get to that Super Bowl, y'all, you got to have an owner that gives a damn, that actually cares about this team and wants them to win. So that's the only part that I like about Sheila. But to your point, Jeff, like, of course, we Lions fans, we sick of hearing that, especially at this point in their development. We in year 6 of Brad and Dan. Like, something got to shake at this point. So I do get, like, your side of it, too.
Also, by the way, I'm not saying I'm not holding Sheila responsible. Like, I still am. Like, you did go to the NFC Championship game. You didn't kind of go all in. You did it in 2023 and then in 2024, and then you missed the playoffs. Like, guys, I get the decline. Like Brandon Katz is like, Booner, like, they've regressed. I'm not giving them credit for regressing. That's not it at all.
Yeah, but I think you made the point that like 9-8, it's like, that's where we are now. That's a bad season? Like, yeah,
no, it is.
The playoffs, that's a bad
season.
As
an organization, as a fan base, like you can respect a little bit. Like, that's crazy that we are at a point to where your floor is 9-8.
Well, that's what happens when this team wins 12 games, wins 15 games, makes an NFC Championship game. Like, you got to update your resume.
No, I completely agree. Year 2. That's why I think it's a different era of Lions football, and you can hold them to a different.
Yeah, it is because
expectation.
We wouldn't even be here without Sheila. Taking that step.
And I'm not going to go and say that she looks like a bad owner or anything, but the reality, and she knows this too by coming out with the statement of like, hey, we want to bring a winner, because she knows the number one goal. It's Super Bowl or bust. You're in that territory, and I'm sorry. Like, fans should want that. You should want that for your organization. So right now, what you're going to be measured on is winning Super Bowls or not winning Super Bowls. So for me, do I think the end-all, be-all for me, we could talk about expectations, but in reality, like, pass, Super Bowl, fail, not Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think this team can win, because of the defense. It's insanity. It's running the same thing back, expecting a different result to me, and it's insanity. So that there needs to be changes on defense, whether it's coaching, whether it's personnel, whatever it is. I'll leave that to the professionals. But all I know is you need a good defense to win. So clearly that's something the Lions need to address at some point, again, whether schematically or personnel-wise. But for Sheila, like, yeah, awesome. I love Sheila speaking out. Got it. Awesome. But that is how that's what it is right now. It's like, hey, making the playoffs will be cool, but ultimately if you don't win,
I do agree.
That's where you're measured.
I'm not gonna give Sheila a pass because of what's happened. Like, I understand, like, she should, like, as an owner and as a GM and a head coach, you should have been able to take that step. I think last year, and even like after the NFC Championship game, has Brad, Dan, or Sheila in those positions ever been to a Super Bowl, won a Super Bowl? No. Their first times doing it. Like, especially Sheila. She just took over. Like, this is her first time even dealing with this. Maybe it's one of those things where it's like, hey, we have to go through this to be able to actually learn. And, like, for Sheila, she will always be the owner, right? Unless, obviously, they sell the team. But, like, Brad and Dan, they could get fired, right?
Yeah.
Sheila is like, hey, as an owner, like, she's learning on the job as well, which isn't great, because obviously you should have been able to take that step as an owner and as a franchise to go win a Super Bowl the last 2 years. We all know that. But she's learning as well in real time. So, like, maybe she saw what happened the last 2 years and is like, yep, hand up show, right, guys? Hand up. Sheila's like, that's on me, that's on Brad, that's on Dan. And maybe it's like, all right, that's why she said, hey, there's a couple changes in ways we're approaching this thing we're going to do that in the future. And obviously we wanted to see it defensively this year. We didn't see that. Maybe they have to go through that again this year to finally next year realize, oh, it's the defense. We need a defense.
Right. And to me, it's maybe Sheila's way of applying a little bit of pressure, because I don't think she's adverse to doing that. If we all go back to, her first year technically on the job, the last year of the Patricia, Bob Quinn era, they did have a win now mandate, and a lot of that was because Sheila kind of helped put that on them. Of course, I think Martha was still kind of handed over the reins, but she had a big part in that. So I think that this is her way of applying a little bit of pressure to Brad and Dan, like, identifying that, yes, like, this has not been good enough. Like, as much as, grit and, we've changed the culture and, we are viewed totally different than what we used to be, all that's well and good. But I think she is kind of like just letting them know, hey, this is the ultimate goal. We need to win. We need to win. And keeping that message, like, at the forefront, I can appreciate that from my owner, because that's going to give the incentive to Brad and Dan to kind of expedite, some of the things that they have been doing or maybe been stagnant on to this point.
Yeah, we could take a break. I do want to read this comment. Shout out Corey, by the way. Ahmed's brother's in the chat. He says defense will be better this year. Mark my words. Well, appreciate that. I hope so. I think the formula's pretty simple, I would think. I mean, obviously harder to do than to say, but I'll say it. The formula's simple. Hit on defensive draft picks.
Yeah, I think that's
Isn't
the
that
biggest
crazy?
thing. Yeah.
That's kind of what it is. And this year,
They
with
haven't
Derek
done it
Moore
much.
and Jimmy Rolder and Keith Abney, you hope that some of those are hits for sure. But, like, okay, cornerback have not hit on a draft pick at corner.
Yeah, no, I think it's
So,
fair. I
like,
mean, you've hit. The thing is,
the edge two
you've hit
position.
on
The edge-
draft picks, right?
Yeah,
defensively, but it's about you have to build it. Like
I'm
you have
talking
to
in
build a full roster.
recent history. The last couple drafts, there has not been. I mean, you're not pulling out guys out of these drafts that are. You had the 2023 draft. That was like the Brian draft class, and before then you were nailing draft picks. But like, I'm hoping that this class can give you some help. I'm hoping Keith Abney and Jimmy Rolder and Derek Moore are three guys that'll be big-time players for you on defense.
Do you want to know what a perfect example of this is? And I know people hate to hear this. I don't know if I've talked about this since we've been back at Woodward, but I used to use this example last year with the Eagles. The Eagles needed their defense, before they won the Super Bowl to take that next step, right? They went to the Super Bowl, needed to kind of rebuild that defense a little bit. They needed more secondary. What did the Eagles do the year before, the draft before they went to the Super Bowl and won it? What did they do the first two rounds?
Well, they went corner and hit on both of them.
And Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. What did the Lions do that same year?
Corner and missed on it.
Missed on both. 0 for 2, 2 for 2.
Yeah.
And that's where I think people will be like, well, Booner, they got Quinyon before Terrion, and then they got Cooper before Ennis. Guys, it has nothing to do with when they got those players they weren't there. When you rank your corners going into a draft, we know one thing about Brad. He's going to make sure he gets his guys. He obviously had Ennis Rakestraw and Terrion Arnold ranked above, maybe not obviously Cooper or Ennis ranked above Quinyon, but he had Terrion ranked above Quinyon, I'm sure, or else he would have taken a couple more extra picks, moved up, and got Quinyon. And it's the same thing in the second round. He would have went up and got Cooper DeJean if he felt like he was better than Quinyon or Ennis Rakestraw. So you evaluated corners that year, and what's the number one position right now on this defense that you struggle with? It's corner. And a team in this league, in your conference, literally went 2 for 2 that year, and those two corners, guess what they did? They helped elevate that defense to go win a Super Bowl, and they are both all-pro corners now. They got 2 all-pro corners. You got 2 corners that both of them potentially could be off your team in the next 2 years. That's the difference that Jeff's talking about defensively.
Yeah, and I think, too, like, kind of to your point, Booner, you brought it up, like, these guys, like, Brad, Dan, Sheila, they're all kind of learning on the fly. I don't know if I can give them that excuse anymore because they've been doing it together for 6 years. Yeah. And it shouldn't take missing the playoffs to learn from your mistakes. Like the 15-2 year, the mistake you should have fixed was adding more depth to your defense and adding to your defense. It shouldn't have taken miss the playoffs to really understand what you need to change as an organization. Like, you shouldn't have to take a giant step down to go back up. Like, that's just what's frustrating to me. And you talk about teams like, the Eagles and San Fran and the LA Rams and teams like that are going to Super Bowls and even winning Super Bowls. The Chiefs, like, they don't have to miss the playoffs to really understand what their organization needs to do to get better. They just can kind of realize it and fix it. So I don't know if I'm going to give them the grace anymore if they're kind of learning as they go, because it's been 6 years.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. We come back. We'll do stock up, stock down. We got to hear about our friends from All Day IPA.
Yes,
and then we'll double up again. Actually,
because we're behind.
We'll do All Day IPA and Loom.
Let's do it, guys. It marks the 15th year anniversary right now for the Founders Brewing's legendary All Day IPA. If you guys have never tried it, go get some this weekend. Whatever you're doing, if you're watching the Tigers, whatever it is, go get an All Day IPA. It's a citrusy, a crisp, and refreshing with a perfectly balanced taste. Guys, at 4.7 ABV, it's built to go the entire distance for any game. Even if you're watching the Tigers, a KG hate watching the Tigers, it goes the entire game, guys. You can get $5 shorts at any Art and Jake's locations in Michigan, Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays. We'll be at Art and Jake's tomorrow, guys, for the Lions preseason game versus the Bengals. Come join us, get a $5 short, and enjoy the drink, guys. And as always, Caleb,
drink responsibly.
I thought I was done, didn't y'all? Nah, I'm here to tell y'all about Loom Cannabis, and in particular, the Buzzin' Energy drinks. And listen, it's the same Buzzins that you love, 7.5 milligrams of pure THC, but they have paired that with 100 milligrams of caffeine from green tea extract, so you can still get through your day and do what you need to do. You can try it in refreshing peach and raspberry lemonade. Crack a can, catch a buzz, and keep the vibes going. You can get it at all 40 locations across the state of Michigan, and all you gotta do is go to loom.com to learn more, or go in store, and either way you get 30% off your entire order by using code WSN30 at checkout. It's Loom Cannabis.
You're building a whole combat sports enterprise in the heart of it in Detroit, and that's what I think is the coolest.
I think with opportunity, right? Like you said, maybe you like to punch people in the face for real, and you know, you want to be a boxer, and you have an option there. Maybe you don't like getting punched in the face, and you want to make, you know, you like the theatricals and the storylines, and so you have an avenue here. Maybe you start at one and then want to change to the other. I don't care. I just want you in the building and know that you have some place to go to explore that. Just having the ability to, what do you want to do and how do you want to do it to the best of your ability? And, you know, it all starts with the kids.
It is Joey with Woodward Sports, and in 2017, I trusted Dr. Yelda with my eyes, and it was the best decision I've ever made. No more glasses or contacts, just clear vision every single day.
Hi, I'm Darren McCarty, 4-time Stanley Cup champion. If I had LASIK back in the day, I probably would have won 8 Stanley Cups. So if you're thinking about LASIK, do it now. Tell them, Doc.
Come see me. You have nothing to lose. It's a free consultation.
For a limited time, LASIK only $19.99 per eye. Call Yeldo Eye Center. Let them know Woodward Sports sent you, but please don't wait like I did. Call them now.
It's game on at Art & Jake's. Wings, burgers, pizza, and ice-cold drinks served up with attention to detail. Wall-to-wall TVs, great service, and a vibe that keeps your crew coming back. Art & Jake's, a sports bar setting with a fine dining flavor.
For more Detroit Tigers coverage, make sure you subscribe to Woodward Tigers on YouTube. All Tigers, all the time. For the hardcore Detroit sports fans who can't get enough of the Motor City's teams. All season long, you'll get non-stop Tigers content from on-field interviews, post-game reactions, and roundtable insight from Woodward Sports.
Let me tell you about our friends over at Supreme Lending. If you're buying a home or refinancing, that's a massive decision. Well, you want to go with the people that you can trust, and that is Chris and Chad over at Supreme Lending. All you got to do when you apply for an eligible loan, mention Woodward Sports, and you'll receive up to $500 off your appraisal. To score the deal, call the numbers on your screen. Talk to Chad and Chris at Supreme Lending today. And let me tell you about Yeldo Eye Center. Nothing wrong with getting those eyes looked at and taken care of with LASIK eye surgery. DMAC did it, and if DMAC can do it, you can do it as well. Trust the professionals at Yeldo Eye Center. I'll tell you a deal that's going on right now. $1,999 per eye, regardless of your prescription. And let me tell you this, too. Takes about 8 minutes, virtually painless, and it's quick. And you're seeing clearly as early as the next day. So go with the people you trust. 248-553-9800. Again, that's 248-553-9800. Free consultation if you call or text or visit YelloWeyeCenter.com. We're back. It's crunch time here on Woodward Sports. We got stock up, stock down, and then we'll get to mailbag. So
drop some in the chat, too, by the way. If you guys have a stock up, stock down, NFL, Lions, drop it in the chat. We'll read some of them off.
Are we good news first or bad news first?
Let's do bad news first. Let's do stock. I want you to do stock down first.
Well, stock down. I'll start with the obvious one. Based on the fan base. Stock down. Roger McCreary. I mean, it's pennies at this point. And he was looked at as somebody, again, looked at as a solid free agent addition. Someone that could start at nickel, has some outside versatility. He was drafted in the second round, had a pretty good career at Auburn. I remember him coming out. Just hasn't panned out. And it's kind of the same old story with the Detroit Lions. So a stock down, a big one would be Roger McCreary for me. And not that I'm necessarily surprised, but I think a lot of fans and probably some media are as well, to be honest.
Yeah, I think the Roger McCreary is a fair one. We've talked about that. I can't be like, no, stock up Roger McCreary. Nah, that guy's about to lose his job. And that was like an exciting offseason signing for the Lions. Stock down, I think we all can agree, Detroit Lions offensive line. It sucks because I think we all were pumped up that this was going to be a legit offensive line. Cade Mays down. We honestly, I know it sounds like Christian Mahogany's taking those left guard snaps, but we still don't know what's going on there. We don't know who. Honestly, the biggest part about it is we don't really know who's even going to step in at center. Like, there's a center battle for the backup because Seth McLaughlin, but then Juice Scruggs is hurt. They're talking about moving Tate over. Like, do I think they're going to get by the first 5 weeks with it? Yeah. Still stock down from what I was expecting. I was excited to see this whole line week one. I was fired up for it. That honestly was probably the biggest thing I was looking forward to.
Yeah, without Cade Mays, that stock is down.
Yeah.
Buy it now, though.
Yeah.
Buy it now.
One we may not be buying anymore, but I know one person that will. And Caleb, I'm so sorry that I have to do this.
Don't,
to you, brother.
KG,
no.
KG, no, KG, don't do it.
Oh no,
KG,
Stock
don't.
down in this rake straw.
I'm out.
The rake.
The rake.
Hey man, listen, bro. You keep hearing these things about Nick Whiteside. I think roster spots are going to be tight at that position. And I just don't know if he gonna make the cut, man. It's good that you've kind of seen him, pop up, on social media reels and stuff like that. But I just think it may be too little, too late when it comes to Ennis Rakestraw. So as of right now, I think he is a stock down.
Sorry, Caleb.
No, I mean I'll go, I guess, real quick. Stock down. I guess everybody who doesn't believe in Ennis Rakestraw, including KG, they're not going to be on the right side of history. So stock down to everybody that doesn't believe in Ennis Rakestraw.
I thought you were going to say stock down to everyone that doesn't believe in the Tigers either, because you're on our side now.
Well, also stock down real quick. Tanner Bybee throwing at Kevin McGonigal yesterday, and Kevin McGonigal making him look like a loser later in the game. So also stock down Tanner Bybee and KG and all of the Ennis Rakestraw haters.
My stock up. Are you ready for this, Jeff? This one's for you, Devin White, linebacker.
Yes.
Stock up,
That's
Devin
the number
White.
one stock up.
Devin White's stock
up.
is flying up. I'm excited. He's actually going to be playing tomorrow. Dan said he's playing in the preseason, so we get to see Devin White tomorrow. Imagine he gets a pick six on Joe Burrow.
Get hype, Jeff.
I don't know how he can be stock up. People thought you signed, Ray Lewis. So I thought his stock was already hot.
You know what? That's actually a fair point. I'm going to go based off of your stock. It's going up from Devin White.
All right. Based on my stock, that's fine. Stock up, I'll go Ahmed Hassanin. I'll rock with Ahmed, man. He's incredible. I mean, his story is his story. And, I do want to get Corey back on, his brother, to kind of give it more insight to how honestly the transformation he's had this offseason. He's put on some weight, he's doing more of that big end stuff, and I think it fits him perfectly. Big power guy, the tenacity he plays with, high energy. And you said it yesterday, Boone, fourth best edge right now on the Lions, and it's like, fourth best. And like, no, that's an important spot because they signed DJ Wanham to start. Derek's a second-round pick. After that, I would take Ahmed Hassanin in a heartbeat, and he's only getting better. So that stock, I'm gonna hold that stock because it's only going to continue to rise. So for me, I'll go Ahmed Hassanin, stock up.
Caleb, I'll let you go.
All right, I'll go real quick. I'm going to go stock up. I'm going to go stock up Sam Laporta. You've heard nothing but good things about Sam Laporta coming off the back injury. Goff talked about him. Dan Campbell talked about him. They're posting clips of him on Twitter, him making nice catches in the red zone on third down. They say he's just the same guy every day he comes into the building. And Sam Laporta, I've said in the past, is a guy that I don't think it would be smart for the Lions to re-sign, but I can't go unnoticed how important he is for this Lions offense. So him going back to original Sam Laporta is going to be huge for this Lions offense. So stock up. I'm going to go Sam Laporta.
Stock up, and maybe it's because we have no choice at this point. Stock up Juice Scruggs. The juice is loose. What are we talking about, man? But no, I mean, there's going to be a lot expected of him, once he returns back to camp and, starts to get those reps. But he looks like he may be our center going into the season. And I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I think you can get by with the Juice Scruggs. Hopefully the injury, to Cade Mays is not as serious as we all think, and he'll get back in the quickest possible timeline. But it's going to be on Juice to step up, man, and I really think he can do that. So I'm going to go ahead and buy the stock now on Juice Scruggs, man. I think he'll be a solid fill-in for the games we'll need him.
Hey, Rake in the chat. I'm going to read a couple here in the chat. Stock down KG for watching the game with a blindfold on last night.
Shout out, man.
There's a few here. Brandon Katz, stock down. Brad Holmes. Interesting. Shift said, Shift the ruler said, stock down Brad's evaluation of cornerbacks.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Very fair, Shift.
Can we just do every week? We do stock down Gio Manu. Just have him stock down every week.
He's already. No, we're not doing that because he's not even in the stock.
Sorry,
really, Caleb.
Sorry.
Short King Petsing said, stock up, Rock Yassin.
I would say so.
That's a good one.
Yeah, Short King Petsing says Aleem stock up. That's another one. Because right now, last year you could have got it for cheap.
Yeah, he is. He said there it's a buy low right now. It is a buy low situation for Aleem McNeil. And again, people think I hate it. I love Aleem McNeil. Player, I love the fact that he's having a great camp. I hope he's a Pro Bowler this year.
So you're buying the stock. You believe.
I would, honestly, right now, I would buy Aleem McNeil stock.
Okay.
I would be willing to lose my money, too, on an Aleem stock.
Okay.
I would. I think, guys, this is where it always got misconstrued, or whatever the word is.
I think you got that.
people always sat there and thought that I didn't think he was a good player. No, he is a good player. I want to see it for a full year. I know he was hurt last year. I'll buy the stock now, especially out of what we're hearing out of camp. I think Aleem's going to be good this year for you.
Okay, Booner.
By the way, we did miss some super chats. Dante, appreciate the 2. He asked Doc this, but do you want Shedeur on the Lions?
Jeff,
Stock down Shedeur Sanders.
Do you want Shedeur on the Lions?
No, Jeff, he would love Shedeur.
Y'all don't want to hear.
I'll answer for him. Yes, Jeff would love Shedeur Sanders.
I know KG's in the boat with me. Don't tell me he wouldn't fit the offense.
Oh,
he fits perfect.
Man, I wish Klotz was in here right now because it's fucking bananas to me that you guys talk about that. You talk about Shedeur.
Who would you rather have?
You talk about Shedeur Sanders like this, but Cam Ward, there's nothing.
We're spending too much time on Shedeur Sanders. I'll step in.
By the way, I appreciate the 10. I honestly think the Lions have a top 10 defense and a top 5 offense heading into the season. They just need to make a move at the deadline. I think they are good enough to win a Super Bowl.
Okay, I'm not mad. I don't believe it, but I'm not mad.
Hey,
I got Corey's in the chat, by the way. I'm his brother.
I've said that 14 times.
I just saw it. My God, dude, I get fired up. See Corey,
That's
dude.
Booner.
Corey, good to see you, man. Let's go, dude. I've missed Corey, dude. He's great. I want to have him. I want to have him on the show.
My favorite time of the show is when Booner it brings something up, trying to looking around.
Get excited.
No, but we mentioned it
That's on me. Hey, you know what? Hey, that's the Booner experience. Art Vandelay, by the way, said stock down Booner. So it's perfect timing. He said keeping it Booner on keeping his composure during a disagreement. He said he loved you. Love you too, Art Vandelay.
I'll buy the Booner stock.
Buy my stock.
I'm buying all.
You know who actually owns the most Booner stock from day one? Someone at Woodward. Can you guys guess?
Who?
Throw some guesses out there.
Who's buying Booner stock?
No, someone bought it back in 2021. And they said literally first week I met him, like, I'm buying every stock that you have.
Damn.
Spenny?
Spencer Axter. He owns the most Booner stock.
He can identify talent.
Yeah, he right away, the first week, he was like, I'm buying all the Booner stock.
Wow.
So he owns a lot of it.
I mean, that's
Can we get Corey on the show? I want to talk ball with him.
Yeah,
Corey, can you hit us up? I want to.
Yeah, Corey. Let's make this happen, Corey. We got to chop it up with you, bro. It's been too long. Let's take a break. We come back, get those mailbag questions ready. We'll answer them. First, though, got to hear about our friends from Thrive.
Let me tell you guys about Thrive. Guys, it's time to upgrade your game. Get rid of the energy drinks, all those things that keep you going, and get Thrive energy pouches. It packs over 300 milligrams, guys, of clean and smart caffeine, including alpha-GPC and L-theanine. I have one a day to get me going in the morning. I have a cup of coffee and a Thrive. That's my morning, guys. So no jitters, no sugar crash, no bloating, none of that stuff. You can find it, see it on the screen. Dipstop.com. Throw our promo code in there, WSN. You can get 15% off your entire order. Or if you want in person, you can go to all Market Fresh or Market Square locations. It's Thrive. They just effing work.
And Sean Belizian wake you up every Monday through Friday on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. That's right, Big D Energy has moved to mornings. Get your morning dose of Neil's tone and Sean's insanity. Weekdays 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Two Detroit sports legends coming together for the best Detroit sports morning show there is. Big D Energy, waking you up weekdays on Detroit's #1 sports network.
I hate to tell you, energy drinks, but you're about to be crushed. Thrive nootropic energy pouches are here to change the game by delivering steady, focused performance in a clean white pouch for a fraction of the cost. And unlike other brands, Thrive comes from an American company that's been leading the way for over 30 years. So stop drinking gut-rot energy drinks and why don't you thrive for a change? It's just better.
Jameer Gibbs, breakout season, loading.
Inside the 5, Gibbs to the end zone, touchdown!
Woodward Sports, the most dominant Detroit sports coverage around.
Let me tell you about our friends over at Water Hazard. Water Hazard is the very first canned vodka cocktail from Founders. Vodka-based cocktail at 5%. Citrusy, refreshing, gluten-free. And you can get your $5 cans at any R&J Jake's location in Michigan on Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Always remember, drink responsibly.
And if you're looking to take your relaxation to the next level, then you have to go to Massage Share House in Bloomfield Hills. They carry top brands like Infinity and Osaki, making it the go-to destination for premium comfort and cutting-edge wellness technology. Be sure to visit Dr. Eric Duncan, the Wellness Doc, the creator of the #1 YouTube channel for massage share reviews. What are you just fucking in? Is that a pencil? Yeah, Booner needs to get himself a massage chair. He needs to chill out a little bit. He could book his visit at MassageSharehouse.com, or he could scan the QR code on the screen. Massage Share House, your ticket to ultimate recovery and relaxation. Was that a pencil?
That was not a pencil. It was a pencil cap.
Oh, sure.
And I hit you
right
nice
in the
throw.
Dome. You hit me. No, I mean, you hit me right here. I heard it right in the ear.
It was a headshot.
Nice throw.
Zach Soap, by the way, this is an interesting mailbag. He said, Easy says we have a better defense now than we did in 2023. Do you guys agree?
I do agree with that.
Because if that's the case, I mean, they go to the NFC Championship that year, so if you're better, you should be able to maybe get farther if your offense is rolling at a high level.
I do agree with that.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that.
I would think so. I guess healthy, yes. Non-healthy, maybe not.
Yeah, but we're not healthy.
That's where
like you had Kirby Joseph there. You had Branch. Like
was that Aleem? Goodyear Aleem?
That was Goodyear Aleem. That was
good Aleem. Aiden.
James Houston.
Who's on the other
that
side?
Was James. James. No, that was that was.
It was some of James Houston.
James Houston.
That was rookie Jack.
That
right?
was an NFC Championship game. That was where you had Kendall Vildor as a corner.
Yeah, but people forget who was back behind him.
You had Branch and Kirby, but
yeah,
that's why I said healthy. If you have Branch and Kirby this year in the playoffs, healthy, then yeah, you do. Probably.
And that was 9 sack Hutch.
Yeah, now you got a better Hutch, you got a better Aleem probably, you got a better edge rusher.
And here's the thing,
like
Hutch. There are other things that factor into that. Obviously, health factors into that debate, and the other thing is who is that coordinator. Like, AG is a better DC as of right now than Calvin Shepard.
Yeah, he was able to put together some good defensive performances.
I mean, and I don't think AG is a world beater.
No.
Like, but here you go, easy. You're the one that said defend the Glen. So if you love AG that much, we got to give him credit. He was coordinating that defense. And so far with Calvin, like, that's a question mark. We don't know if he can be a good coordinator. We don't.
Yeah.
At least AG had the defense humming. Humming's aggressive, but they did have I believe they were in the top 10 or top 15 in scoring defense.
Yeah, and they stopped the run.
And they stopped the run.
They got a lot of turnovers.
Danny G, mailbag. This is one I want to make sure I address. He said, I heard Booner did a rug pull on his Boone coin. I want my money back. I have never done a coin. I want that on record.
Boone coin.
No coin. There is no Boone coin. If you're buying into a Boone coin, it's not me. I'm not doing it.
Let's see here. Any more mailbags that you guys can see? Well, I see this. Freddie, mailbag. I'm eating Panera for lunch. People say it's hospital food. Trust me, I work in healthcare. This is better than hospital food. What's a fast food chain or that gets hate that it doesn't deserve?
Oh, that's a good one.
Arby's.
Arby's gets so much hate.
That's deserved hate.
What?
Shut up, Jeff.
Dude, I've eaten Arby's with you, and you're like, this is great.
It depends what you get from it.
We went on a road trip, and we stopped at Arby's.
I've never eaten Arby's.
No, I got some curly fries, mott sticks, and the beef and cheddar.
You might have. I've
watched you eating beef and cheddar in my life.
You're lying. That's just lie.
I've watched you eat
That's
beef
a
and cheddar.
lie.
We were on a road trip.
I have not had
we stopped
Arby's
at those
since
gas
I was
stations.
probably 10 years old. I'm dead at.
We
You're
stopped
lying.
at an Arby's.
Straight up lie. We might have. I didn't eat no Arby's.
I think it was like me, you, Gentry, and Lucas. We were on a road trip somewhere.
I have never had Arby's. So you're lying.
Wow.
And I have.
I want to hit Luke. I'm pretty sure it was
that
Lucas,
is a lie.
and we stopped and we sat down.
On God.
Hold on,
hand up. I have not had Arby's in probably 15 years.
Well, you need to go get it because it's good.
No, I don't like it.
Okay.
I'm out of it.
I'm making a live call to Lucas Klotz on this.
I don't care who says I did. I hand up to God.
Yeah, but if 2 people said you did, then what? Then what?
Well, Lucas is going to say, I probably did.
I mean, it's good. It's a good
I will say, hand
Lucas, we're live on the show.
Arby's is not. I'll say one.
Hold on, I can't hear you. Say that again.
It absolutely happened because I never eat fucking Arby's, and that was the last time I ate Arby's, and I was like, why the fuck are we eating here?
Yeah. And we ate there, did we not?
I didn't eat Arby's.
All 4 of us ate Arby's.
We all sat down. It was me, you, Gentry, and Klotz. We sat down inside the Arby's. I remember we went to the bathroom. We got Arby's. We all bought beef and cheddars.
I don't even like beef and cheddar.
We ate one.
I did not eat any Arby's.
We all ate Arby's, man. I didn't want to do it either.
I did not on my life.
Klotz, I love you.
I
I'm gonna call
did
you
not
today, Klotz.
eat
I love you
Arby's
so much.
There is no.
Jeff,
That's a lie.
Of the demon, man. It happened.
No, it did not happen. On God. It did not happen. I have not. The last time I had.
Look, I don't want to admit it either, man.
No, it's not true. It's simply not true. It's not true. It's not true. The only it's
not real meat. I didn't want to eat that, but we ate it.
No, we did not. The last time I ate Arby's, I was probably 10 years old, 11 years old.
Lying. This is crazy.
I have not had Arby's. On God. And I know I knew it's a lie because you said beef and I don't even know what any of that shit is. I have not had Arby's.
Arbigate.
But we ate a sandwich from there, man.
No, I did not. On God, I did not eat Arby's.
This is crazy.
You know what? Actually, you know what I think it was? You know what? Now that I remember, it was an Arby's and something else in one, and I chose the up. No, that's a lie. No, it was two. It was no. I remember. Now it's coming back. We stopped on the road. It was an Arby's combined with another chain, and I got the other chain. And we sat together. We sat in the Arby's section. No, I swear to God, we sat in the Arby's section, and I watched them eat Arby's and made fun of them. I remember it clear as day.
This is crazy, man.
I did not eat Arby's. We were technically, he is right. We were in Arby's. I was not eating Arby's.
We hear the story morphing, and we still don't know what he ate.
I know for a fact, I know for a fact, no matter what, he got something from Arby's.
That's a lie.
Because he got a chocolate shake there. I remember.
I did. Hey, no.
I think he got food.
No. I'll give you. See, this is where I'll admit I got a shake for sure.
Arby's
shakes are. Hey, I'll give you this. Arby's shakes are banging. I will say, I've went through Arby's and got a shake.
So what did you eat though?
I didn't eat anything at Arby's. I had a shake because the shakes are good.
They release
the Arby's files.
Right. Yeah, Jeff's Arby's files.
If you type, you know what I'll do?
If you type Jeff Arby's files, it won't pop.
No. If you type Arby's into my bank statement, you will not find it.
That's a lie. What if you got a shake though?
Besides the shake.
Okay, there we go. We got him.
It'll say like $3.89 or whatever the shake is.
I don't even think we would have. We could probably do it on Crunch Time. It was probably an expense.
Well, that would be not me though. That would be other people getting Arby's. I swear to God, I've never felt this confident about something I've said before.
We missed every mailbag because we just got into an Arby's debate. Tomorrow.
I can't believe Lucas called and tried gaslighting me like that and saying he remembers me eating Arby's.
Everybody said it. I'm just
That's
saying.
absurd.
There's multiple people saying it.
I called it too. I was like, "You're gonna call Lucas? He's gonna be like, yeah, he ate Arby's. I was there."
We all were there.
No.
Well, at first you tried to say you hadn't had Arby's since you was 10. That was the first lie.
And then all of a sudden he's like,
okay.
And then I got a chocolate shake.
I haven't eaten Arby's.
And then I actually got an Arby's.
I did get the shake though.
You had Arby's. You had a nice beef and cheddar.
That's a lie.
I hate
beef and cheddar. You know me. You're my friend. I hate
you got some of the Mott sticks or something too. You got something else there.
He's just pulling shit out of his ass. I respect it. Let's get out of
right
here.
I'm not pulling anything out of anything.
Let's get out of here. Hey, tomorrow we'll be back Thursday, 11 a.m. Fucking stay away from Arby's.
Hey, go Tigers tonight.
Unless you like it. I'm out. See ya.
The next generation of Detroit sports media is here. Crunch Time is back on Woodward Sports. Join Jeff Iafrate and Booner Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Taking Detroit sports coverage to the next level with massive interviews, viral moments, and the best live reactions. Get ready, Detroit. The young guns are taking over. Crunch Time on Woodward Sports.